Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Game Station podcast. That's it.
Hi!
That's all I got.
Hello. Hi.
Welcome.
Mm-hmm.
We are happy to have you.
Yes, we are. I've realized that I may be doing this slightly excessively. It would appear that I'm streaming at 60 frames per second. That was not actually what I intended to do at all. But, okay, I guess we're rolling with it.
Do we need to start over?
Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know.
You might want to figure out soon.
So.
I think it's okay. I think it's probably alright.
All right. This will be an experimental podcast.
Oh, great. Another one of them.
We
don't have last time.
The last one went okay.
Be ready.
Oh, that
You're
was
watching
wonderful.
the 60 FPS podcast right now.
Yeah, you won't actually see any difference at all because we're all in 30, so it's actually pointless. But
Or possibly 15.
yeah,
Depends.
well, probably
Am
knowing
I-
Skype, it's like, oh, you want to run in 3 frames per second? Don't worry, we got that for you.
Seems as though you're
Upgraded
having a
premium.
problem.
Yeah, upgraded premium, you can have 5 frames per second. It's really quite the thing, trust me. Yeah, I guess I'm sure it'll be fine. Famous last words. I'm sure it will be fine.
But welcome to the TGS podcast, where we sometimes talk about games featuring
Jesse,
Mr. Total
what the hell
Biscuit.
are you doing with your camera?
You said today's podcast was experimental.
Oh,
so
true.
it's experimental, man. What? Woo!
I think
feel
you meant
like
experimental in a
my
good way.
mind.
Are you quite finished?
Yeah, I'm quite finished.
Oh.
I pressed cancel to stop, and it is like, no, we'd rather not. So this is gonna be me for a while.
Just go with
Apparently,
it.
my webcam was having none of it.
Well,
Jackass.
It's done.
don't worry about it.
Have you seen? Is this going to be?
There we go.
There we go. Jesus.
It took a minute.
Much better.
Look. Some of us have computers from 2010, so screw you.
Mm-hmm.
Snap, 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 snap.
Yes.
So yeah, hi everyone.
What's up?
How are you?
Welcome.
Internet.
I got an awesome package this week of stuff from Poland, from Natalia and Agata, and one of the things they sent me was this. It's
What
called
the hell is that?
Gelway.
What is it?
Gelway Frugo.
What
I don't
is
know,
it?
So it's
but I have
edible.
a nice hot cup of water with Cinema Insane on it. Best YouTube channel ever. And I'm gonna put it in here so you guys talk. I'm going to make some Gelway.
Oh, it's like instant chocolate sort of a thing? Oh,
It's-
okay.
It's most likely some kind of butt medicine.
What fruit?
Oh, I hope so.
What fruit is that?
Cherry.
Yeah.
What
that's
is the
cherry.
That is obviously a cherry.
That looks kind of cherry-ish.
Watermelon? Is it
What is that?
cherry and watermelon?
There. That's not a
That's
watermelon.
not watermelon.
What
No,
watermelon
the colors
fruit?
are wrong. I don't know. Some sort of melon.
Confirmed as not watermelon at this time.
No.
Mm.
Well,
no.
we're about to find out. Ooh.
All right.
Continue with your lives. I'll
It's
be
gonna
here.
it's gonna be mint
Right.
chocolate chip and cherry.
I bet.
That would be a fairly terrible combination as far as I
It
can
would be a
tell.
little too much, I think.
Smells fruity. It's I guess
Someone
cherries.
said dragon
Cherries.
fruit. That could
Cherries
be
Cherries are a
dragon.
fruit.
Maybe it is dragon fruit. Oh my.
That would be amazing. How exotic.
Quite. Indeed.
Speaking
I
of
don't know.
exotic, TalesOfLumin, welcome to the show. You're from a country that I can't point at on the map.
Really. Well,
Yeah.
thank
Your
you for having
internet,
me.
unfortunately,
Uh,
doesn't work very well because you keep freezing every
No.
now and again.
I have
Oh.
no idea why it's doing that, but I'm really glad to be here. Even if I'm frozen, I'm hoping that it's unfrozen more than it's actually frozen.
Well,
But,
if it makes you
thanks
feel
for
any
having
better,
me.
once again, Skype has been kind to you and frozen you in a decent position instead of in a really
Good.
horrible-looking one. So
You're
that's
not
good.
frozen for
It's-
me, so
But you are
But
for the
someone
only
else
person
point
that
that
actually matters who is streaming the show. So
That's just
I've learned a valuable
Terrible.
lesson here today.
what?
Uh-huh.
So what happened?
let's hear it. Come on.
So apparently, my conversion for milliliters to is way off.
No.
What have you
So-
done?
I have
Is it
made
solid?
basically it's supposed to make it looks like pudding. I have made chocolatey water. That's okay though. I'm gonna
And
eat
now
this.
you have to drink it.
Yep, you gotta eat it live on
Drink it.
stream. It's gonna be dumb.
Come on.
Uh-huh.
That's not bad. That's not bad for chocolate water. It's not bad. Except it's literally chocolate water at this point. I don't know if anyone
Are
can see
you,
that.
are you
Oh,
sure it's not
Looks
supposed to
like
be
coffee.
that?
I was gonna say,
Is it-
it's dark.
it's not
Not
meant
like
to
some
have
kind
a-
of hot chocolate thing?
Maybe on the back though. That looks like pudding to me. That looks like pudding to me. Look, it's like
That looks like
Oh,
fruit.
of course. Kestel Joyce Gotowe does Scheuchtest.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
that. Oh.
Exactly.
It's clearly flavor.
Oh, Peter Hadja, my favorite.
My favorite flavor. Again,
I'm
thank
looking
you,
at the chat to see
Natalia
if
and
somebody's
Agatha.
like, these idiots. I know that language, and this is what it is.
Yes.
Any pudding in a cup. Is that what it is?
Probably.
It's supposed
Is
to
it
be
actually
pudding in a cup. That's fine, but I put too much
It looks
water
like
in,
it's
so
meant-
it's liquid chocolate in a cup. It's
These idiots. Thank you, Krieger-san.
No problem. We're rocking it today. That's how it is.
that ain't bad. That ain't bad. It's a little watered down, much like American beer, apparently.
You know, I was pretty confused by that whole lawsuit. It's like, sorry, consumers are going to sue Budweiser for watering down water. Really?
I mean-
I've tasted that before. I think the South Africans will be able to tell you what a real beer should taste like. I'm not a beer person, but I know that no one here drinks that.
I can
Just-
tell you
just
that
saying.
no one outside of America drinks that horse swill. So pretty much everyone knows what real beer is as long as they're not drinking Bud.
Well, like the original Budweiser that wasn't made
Oh,
in America.
the legit
Great,
Budweiser.
right?
Where was that made? Was that Lithuania, Czechoslovakia? It was Czech, wasn't it? I thought it was Czech. Pretty sure it was Czechoslovakia. Yeah, you Google that.
Yeah, Czech Republic.
Yeah. There you go.
Yep.
I'm sure it was much better back then.
Yeah, it's called the same thing. It's not like the same beer at all. Like America didn't buy it or anything, but somehow they managed to make the same thing. But there you go.
I need to get the taste of that out of my mouth with some more of it.
Enjoy.
Sounds like that sounds effective. How's it working out for you?
It
I
tastes
swear you said
delicious.
it tasted
Thank
good.
you, Agatha and Natalia. You're wonderful. Wait, ladies.
Oh.
Oh.
Polish-
Even with the
Polish
eyebrow.
ladies.
It's like-
Polish ladies. They're trying to poison me. Like
It's like,
He's
hey
just-
ladies, I'm incapable of making pudding in a cup. I will truly be a good forager
that's
for our
why.
future
That's
children.
why I need you. That's why I need you to come figure out what the hell a milliliter is, because I don't know.
Oh no, metric! My worst enemy is an American.
Sorry.
Is it true? Wait, TB, I have a question.
Yes.
Is it true that in England you use both
Yes.
forms of measurements?
Yeah, we use both.
What? How does that work?
Well, we just have an
Milliliters and-
inherent knowledge of it because they changed, I think, in the 90s, and like most of us grew up knowing both. So we have this weird system where we now use a lot of metric for measurements, and yet we still use imperial for speed and we still use miles,
Oh.
but we use meters as well. We don't use
that
yards anymore.
shocked me.
So-
I had no
so-
idea.
It's like, why do we use miles and yet not yards? Because we apparently don't like yards anymore, so we use meters. But we still use feet because
Okay.
6 foot Blair sounds better than 1.85 meters. So we still use feet for that. We still use stone for weight for a person, but we don't use pounds for weight of product. We use kilograms.
That all sounds very confusing.
Fuck yeah, UK!
That reminds me
Wow.
of back in the 90s, elementary school, like 91, whenever this was, they tried to convince us all to switch over to the metric system. And that year in math, everyone failed math class because we didn't know what it was. Everyone in the school failed math. And so at the end of the year, they switched it back. America tried, we failed, and we gave up on it. That's how we
Someone saw
roll.
yards on road signs in the UK. Where? In Wales, maybe? No. Everything is in miles and meters. So I don't know. It's bizarre, but hey, nobody uses yards anymore. At least not in the UK.
And we've
These-
got kilograms, kilometers, milliliters.
So metric,
what else is there?
metric, yeah.
Yeah, all of it metric. Yes.
All of that metric,
Much
yeah.
easier.
Much more sensible, but you know, we are also like one of the only countries that drive on the left side of the road, so yeah, that's just how it will be.
Yeah, it says here I needed to do Kubka Walach 175 ml. So
Yeah.
that's milliliter?
That's milliliters, yeah.
Ruzaka Woody 3/4 Kabuka. Sounds like Japanese.
Just follow the
3, 4
pictures, Jess.
Did you like miss a key ingredient or something
Follow
like
the
that?
pictures? Shut up. Picture 1 is pour
A
water
cup.
in a cup. Picture 2, pour crap in the cup. Picture 3, it's pudding. That's the instructions.
Question.
Are you sure
Yeah.
picture 3 isn't stir it?
What?
Also, are you sure that picture 1 was water and not milk?
Ah.
Is it white? Because if it's white, it might be
Ooh.
milk.
It's not. It's shit. I don't know.
Also, I should point out 175
Look,
milliliters is about
the
half
cup-
the size of the cup that you have there.
I know. Oh, I'm well aware now. The cup is white, but in it, I can't tell if that. Why would you make the cup white? That is misleading.
Look, have you ever made hot chocolate or anything like that with water? I've never done that before.
Generally speaking, you
Yeah.
don't
Much
do
better
that.
with milk.
But
Yeah,
every
it's
now
much
it
better.
depends on the nature of it.
I've made hot chocolate with
Yeah, here in
water
America-
because I can't have milk. So
Yeah.
Some of
maybe
the
I'm not a
instant
good
stuff already kind of the milk is kind of powdered as part of a lot of
Powdered,
it and stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So
It's just
because
much
basically they don't
creamier
want you to have to
actually make
work
it-
for your hot
Yeah,
chocolate.
but we don't. We look. In America, we can barely get water running, and hot water. Sorry, rest of the world. We are fighting terrorists right now. Thank you very much.
Wow.
We're in a time of war.
Yeah.
Pick a side, world. We're at war.
Oh my.
hell
Welcome
is
to the
going
Game
on
Station
right now?
podcast. We occasionally talk about video games. Coming up in the show, we will of course be talking about the games we've been playing this week, as well as Tails is frozen in the best possible position. It's wonderful.
Oh, that is a good
God,
face.
that's so
He's
good.
so happy.
Oh, that's wonderful. Anyway, yeah, as I was saying,
great.
news. We have news. We're going to be talking about news and all sorts of other stuff. And we've got some trailers to show you, including one which appears to have werewolves in it. And I think it sounds like an Irish drinking song going on in the background, which might be the best
What?
trailer I've ever seen. So we'll look at that one, as well as a few other trailers of forthcoming games. And if we have time, we'll be running some host topics towards the end of the show. And we will tell you exactly what's coming up on our channels over the next week. And beg you to watch our content, because otherwise we can't feed our poor starving families. So that's how it is.
I have like 8 babies
Exactly
in the other
that.
room.
Yeah.
I need those views.
She does.
Oh, they're all cats.
She does.
I have 8 baby cats in the other room. You guys don't
That's
Listen,
understand.
you'll get a lot
that
more-
sounds
a lot
more
sympathy
more
for that.
likely to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Indeed.
Go with that.
All right. Okay. Let's do a podcast. I heard we can
Okay.
do that sometimes. Okay. So let's start with who wants to kick us off. What have we been playing this week? Anyone got
So,
anything
Lumin.
interesting? Yeah, Lumin. What have you been playing this week? What's been
I'll
going
do
on?
it. Okay,
Yeah.
so nothing really interesting. I've been spending a lot of
Oh,
time
you
in
suck.
Guild Wars.
Dodger, what have you been playing this
no,
week?
no.
Okay.
I want to
Yeah.
talk about Guild Wars for a second.
Okay.
So
Sure.
the new update came out just last night. The Gathering Storm update. It's the second in that Flame and Frost series,
Okay.
and it added guild missions. So I was super keen to jump in and try some guild missions with the rest of the guild. Our guild's called the Illuminati, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get there, and then no, you
Man.
be quiet, be quiet.
The
So-
Illuminati.
We get there, and I saw that. It requires an upgrade in the guild that's going to take a week to research. So we have to wait a week before we can try the first guild mission, which kind of sucks. We're going to try to get it done by the end of the mission, by the end of the weekend, and hopefully give it a try then. But I've been playing a lot of Guild Wars, and it's been a ton of fun. I made a new thief recently, which has been so good. I've been playing on Engineer. I don't know what classes you guys played when you actually played it, but
I played Thief
when I
mostly.
when I played on Engineer, I just felt so weak. I wanted to stick with it because that's the class I really liked. I like the style of the Engineer. But when I switched to Thief, the game just became so much more fun. It was so much better.
No, I had an engineer too. That was my first character. I named him after all my characters are named after Final Fantasy VI characters. So it's like he'll be a human engineer. I'll name him Edgar. It'll be wonderful. And so I ran around, was having a great time, and about halfway through level 80, I realized that engineers are the weakest, derpiest shits in the entire game, and they're pathetic in every way. And I wasn't having fun. I switched to a Guardian. I'm like, this is an entirely different game now. I'm actually enjoying myself.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. I mean, I was having fun, okay, but it was just me having fun seeing all the new areas and stuff like that. But then I realized that I wasn't really enjoying the class. And when I switched to Thief, it was just, it was so much better. I'm level 60-something now, and it's just the best experience. There's so much more you can do with the traits, and there are so many more interesting skills. And with Engineer, there's just no direction. I mean, there are so many little things that it can do, but it does everything else much worse than the other classes already do them, so there's just no point.
Yep, it's all, Engineer is a really garbage class. Thanks for nothing. I was so excited, too. I was like, it's going to be so much fun because I can drop turrets. Turrets are basically just as underpowered as Shaman Totems in WoW. So, that's what they are.
I use the turrets right now to get their utility belt skills, so I use them for the secondary effects that they give you, not for the actual turret.
Right. Because they're garbage.
Well, I've been playing Guild Wars, and it's a lot of fun. I've been having a blast. I'm still playing it since launch. And other than that, I've been playing the stuff that I've been playing on my channel, XCOM on classic Iron Man. It's so difficult. I'm just so bad at that game, but I'm having a lot of fun playing it. And
is this the only decent way to play the game, even though it is difficult that way? There's no real question.
No, I agree. It's a ton of fun, but I'm so bad at it. I'm really bad. I've got a really interesting way of playing it, though. I've got a list of names of subscribers that leave comments and stuff, and then you
get them killed. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I get them killed, but I first get everyone attached to them. So I set up little backstories for them. Like I say, this guy,
and then you kill them.
You know, he was born and bred to be, the leader of an XCOM squad. His parents believed in him. He was sent out into the world, ready for it. The aliens came. He was first in line to take them on, and then he dies. But, I try to set up little backstories and get everyone involved and stuff, and that makes it, super fun. But other than that, Skyrim, I've been trying to play Max Payne through. I want to finish at least one game this year.
Max Payne's are probably a good choice then, because
those are the kind of
goals
that
so it's not really much of a game.
I enjoy that. I enjoyed Metal Gear Solid 4, which was pretty much one big cutscene, and Max Payne sort of reminded me of that in the way that it's set up. But it's a nice game. It's fun. Max Payne 3, well worth playing. I'm enjoying it. But that's it. That's pretty much what I've been doing. Mostly Guild Wars.
I have a question for you about Guild Wars. What is your favorite class?
Don't do that to me. I started on Engineer. It was amazing. I loved it. I made an Asuran Engineer. But then, after playing Thief and creating the most beautiful Sylvari Thief, a female, of course, because they're so much better looking.
I mean, of course.
She's a plant, bro.
You need to go look at her. She's more than just a plant.
My guardian, Celis, is a glorious young lady who is white as snow. She might be the palest character who ever lived in the history. Her skin reflects light. It's insane.
That looks good on a Guardian because they're almost mostly blue and gray shades. It looks good.
No, hers has to be green and silver. Look, they have to look like the characters from the game, okay? It's a theme.
Great. Okay. No, but right now, I gotta say, I'm enjoying Thief the most. I tried so many of the classes, and I just played to level 10, 15, 20 at most, and Thief is just the one that I'm attracted to at the moment. It's good. It's a lot of fun. Stealth in games, amazing.
Yeah, I always go for stealthier characters, so lately I've been trying to do more tanky stuff, and tanks are so fun because you don't have to have much of a strategy. That suits my brain really well.
Don't you? I mean, if you're playing World of Warcraft, for instance, isn't all the pressure in the world on the tank, and then a little bit on the healers and some on the DPS? But if you're the tank, then everyone expects so much more of you.
Yeah.
Not,
You really
not
want
in
that
Guild
kind of
Wars.
pressure?
Not in
No,
Guild
Wars,
Wars.
but
It's
you're not
different.
supposed to tank. You know,
In Guild Wars,
I
you
have
have
to
no
tell you
pressure
that-
to be a tank. None.
That's because you can't
that's
really
the thing. It's not
tank per
actually
se.
like that. No, you know, I've been seeing so much of this, but when it comes to the higher level fractals, I don't know if you guys know what the fractals of the Mist Dungeon is.
I have done them, yes.
No, well, you can go up in level, and then it gets like significantly more difficult when you get higher up. But when you get to the higher levels, people don't even go without at least a guardian or warrior. And you need, well, if they can get like 3 guardians, a warrior, and then maybe like an elementalist or something, then that's perfect. But they need those. I know ArenaNet said you wouldn't need to use specific classes to make it, but trust me, on those more difficult ones, or on Ara, I don't know if you did Ara story mode, that's okay, but when you get to explorable mode, then that's the highest level dungeon in the game. When you get to
I
that,
haven't.
then trust me, you can't just use any class you want. You need a tank, or you need a couple of tanks, and you know, it was bound to find its way in there, but yeah.
Yeah, you can't completely demolish the Holy Trinity and then expect it to work at higher difficulty levels unless you somehow completely change the dynamic of the game. And from what I played of it, the changing dynamic of the game was, oh, you know, aggro, we're not going to do that. We're just going to have monsters run around and randomly hit people, and those people are responsible for their own lives. Enjoy.
I have to tell you that the aggro is so random as well. I mean, I went to Fractals for the first time, I think 2 weeks ago, okay? I'm a little bit behind, excuse me. But I went there for the first time, and then we did one of the more difficult ones, and this boss just focused on me. It just followed me all the way. I go stealth, I come out of stealth, he follows me again. He just changes his focus for like enough time to comfort me a little bit, to make me feel safe, and then he switches straight back to me. I'm doing the lowest DPS in the party. I'm nothing special. I'm not really like trying to attract him. I'm not trying to get his attention, but yeah, he attacks me. He sets his sights on me and he wants to kill me. He didn't stop until he pounded me into the ground and my party had to 4-man it.
Fun times.
It's crazy. Ah, well, I still enjoy it. I love it. But that's what I've been playing this week.
I have another question for you.
Go. Ask away.
What is your shirt? Then I'm done. That's my last question.
FYI, you
Oh,
can't
is it
really
a
show
Kingdom
it right
Hearts
now
shirt?
because it's frozen. I can't. No one could actually see this on the
It's a
screen.
Kingdom Hearts shirt.
Kingdom
It has
Hearts
all the Kingdom Hearts
shirt.
characters on it.
Well,
I can't see who the
I'll just
bottom
stand up
one
again.
is.
Don't worry, I'll stand up again. The bottom one, it looks like the little,
Is that Kyrie?
the
Or Riku?
little wizard. What's his name? The little
Little
wizard.
wizard?
Little wizard.
I don't know. Isn't that
Oh
the little?
no, those are just
Is it
heartless
Heartless?
guys.
Yeah.
Oh.
Heartless.
Fine. I don't know the Kingdom Hearts games very well.
But I bought a T-shirt
I just
anyway.
like the T-shirt. Yeah, it's an
That's
amazingly cool
okay.
T-shirt.
You know what? I wear a Hellboy t-shirt sometimes, and I am not a huge fan of those comic books, so
But did you like the movies? Which in
we're
my
both
opinion, were
fakers.
great.
I love the movies.
Hell
I
yeah.
love the movies.
Fantastic.
So I guess that makes
Who
it.
played Hellboy in that CG one? Well, it wasn't CG. He was actually in a costume. Was it Ron Perlman?
Yes.
Well, yeah,
Was
Ron
it?
Pullman was playing him in the actual movies as well.
Those
so
are such good movies.
they really are.
I like that
The
guy.
visuals, especially in
He-
the second one, are absolutely
Oh
phenomenal.
yeah. Well, I mean, they were like, "Yo, Guillermo, we have Hellboy, and we
Do
need a bunch of
whatever
creatures,"
fuck
and he
you
was
want
like,
with it. It's like, yeah, you know that that movie I did called Pan's Labyrinth. Can I do that again?
Yeah,
Only
I'm
with a
just gonna
guy
do
with a
more
massive
of
gun,
that.
and they're like, yeah, sure, go for it. And
the second one.
I-
specifically.
second
I'd
was
watch
great.
that movie just for Ron Perlman's voice. I don't know. I've got a thing for it. Ever since Fallout, I can't. I don't know. Okay,
You fall
I
asleep to his voice at night.
appreciate those strong
All of the
voices.
changes.
Stop that, Jesse. That's enough. Put that face away.
Do you and your tree girlfriend go and watch Hellboy? Or is this
Only if I could do that. I
Hey, the
would.
dude's honest.
would.
I'm
It's
not gonna
Ron
hate him for
Pullman
that.
or nothing, Jesse.
Look, I'm not
My
gonna hate him for
fiance is
that.
sitting over there. She doesn't have a problem with it at all. She'd do the same. She'd sell me out in a heartbeat for my Silvari thief.
She must be.
Awesome.
hot.
That's
I
an
have no
interesting
more
relationship
questions for
dynamic
you.
you have there.
Hey, it's she's playing Guild Wars right now. She's in the Fractals of the Mist.
Oh. Every
That
time you
should
say
tell you enough.
fractals, I imagine like the mathematics fractals, and then I imagine like little characters trying to navigate actual fractals, and it hurts my brain. it's hard. It's hard for me.
Some of the actual fractals do kind of look like that, so there you go. You should check it
There's
out.
one that has jumping puzzles in it, and I hate it.
I love it. Jumping
The Asura-
puzzles.
the Asura
make
one is
the day
awful.
for me. That's the best one.
For me to poop on.
I like it.
It sounded like Krendor was here. Krendor? Sounded like he showed up. I heard his
Dodger,
laugh.
What have you been playing this week, Dodger? Please save me from Jesse.
This is like the third week in a row that I've been really bad. I haven't
you've
really
kind of had an excuse. You've been moving and had no internet and all sorts.
Yeah, I know. I just this morning I was like, "Oh, podcast." And then I realized, God, this is another week that I haven't really been playing much. Lots of Zookeeper Battle on my phone and Blood Bowl. I had my training session with Kanuri yesterday.
Go for you.
I feel like I understand tackle zones like so much better now. There are so many things that I think I should have understood at this point that I never quite mentally grasped.
Yeah.
And after training,
I've run into that problem. It's so easy to misunderstand tackle zones because they're a little bit weird, and the way that assists work is a little bit weird. And it's like, well, I've got to move him here to cancel this tackle zone so that when I move this guy in here, he actually gets an assist. If I don't move this guy in first, then the tackle zone isn't cancelled. Ergo, the assist doesn't happen. But if I move this guy here, then the assist can happen. What? And then
there were
dodging in and out of tackle zones is completely different.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So it turns out I have been doing really dumb things all the time.
Yes.
And he was like, "You are taking so many risks for no reason. Why are you doing this?" And I was like, is there a better way to do that?
And fun, and risk is enjoyable.
Like-
Fun to watch.
You know what I like too? Scoring.
for people to
Scoring is
watch.
pretty fun. That's good.
You're like, what?
All business with TB. All business. You have to have fun. Jesse's right. You have to have fun when you play. I don't
You know
understand
what I
the
have
game
fun
very
with?
much.
Winning. I like
Winning
winning
is
a lot.
fun. I agree with
I
that.
expected that.
Um,
Okay, fine.
People. Whatever. No comment.
What?
I'm with Jesse on this one.
Oh, thank you, you and everyone else on the internet.
Hey, here's the thing though, Jesse. Didn't you have a lot more fun when you played the game properly, like you did against me? You did a lot better, and you scored, and you actually had more fun, and you were kind of zen about it, and it was cool. The thing is, if you play well, you can do those stupid risks. If you play badly, you can't do the stupid risks because half your team gets killed.
Now that I know how to play, I wouldn't say it's more fun. I'd say I just know how to play. And so I can't get frustrated with stuff that I don't understand because I know what I'm doing. Do I still not like that I am playing? Yeah, but you know, what are you gonna do? So you go straight zen and you deal. Like, look, I'm not gonna win. I know I'm not gonna win, so I just don't care. I'm just gonna be cool with it, and I'm gonna do what I gotta do to survive.
Sometimes you gotta fight, Jesse.
For your right.
I was gonna say you could always drag the games out really long and just try and frustrate.
No, there's no reason to do that. It's cool, baby. You just gotta be zen with it, dude. Let it go.
I hope that's
Is that an elf?
what
thing?
you say to everyone you play against. It's cool,
No,
baby.
my next
Don't
match
worry.
is against Gerard, and he and I have agreed to fast turns, and we're gonna take a shot each of our 16 turns. Best game in the entire league.
Well, yeah, this is actually a game you have a shot at winning because Gerard's team currently has a team value of about 740
I feel
because half
so
his team
bad
is
for
dead.
him.
That's fine.
Oh, man.
I'm going to drink heavily, so the chances of me losing are still intact. It's
Great.
not fun if you think you're gonna win. In fact, we may just let each other score on each other and get the highest points possible and just cheat the league. Oh my god! Oh my god! Gerard, if you're watching, dude, we're gonna scam some shit.
So there's a reason why the league setup lets me change the results of matches, and that's because of people like you. Because
You can change results?
Oh yeah.
match, we're
Well,
gonna call
you should probably not have announced that here on the
Hey,
podcast.
you can
with
change results,
TB
you can force
listening.
regames, you can do, like, if you are a administrator of the league, you are capable of doing all those things.
You can force a regame. We'll do the exact same thing. So you can get drunk. We will filibuster this league, man. You can go crazy on this. You want this league to continue? You better let us drink and score.
I will assign you 0-0, motherfucker. Don't even do it.
Well, all I can say
I'll have the record of it.
is I already enjoyed the game, and now that I understand some of the things that were confusing to me, I enjoy it more, and I'm feeling good, but I do need to do a lot of practice before I go up against Angry Joe.
Pretty much welcome to everyone that's ever played Blood Bowl. They hate it until they understand it, and then they like it more. And then when they roll badly, they hate it again.
I already liked it. Like, I already thought that it was really fun. There were just lots of things that I didn't get, or maybe I didn't even realize I didn't get. Like, at first when Knur and I started playing, the first, like, couple of rounds that we had, he was like, do you want me to tell you everything that you did wrong? And I was like, sure! And then I couldn't comprehend all of the things that I had done wrong at once. I was like, what?
I wanna know, how many things can you do wrong within 1 or 2 turns? I mean, I don't know the game that
so
well. I've watched
many.
a couple.
A lot
So
of
many.
apparently.
How is that even possible? How many of your units can you move in a single turn?
All of
All
them.
of
Every
them.
single one.
Yeah.
Ah,
The problem
there
is
you go.
that in order
Okay,
to
fine.
like do things, fun things, you have to do like an
Oh.
order of operations of like, well, first I have to stand guys up, but then I have to set up the block. Bullshit. That's
That's what he
not
hates.
fun. That is not fun. It's
No.
The game's procedural, and there's risk is. It's not about taking risks. It's about risk management. And if I want to do that, I would like go outside.
What?
that bad.
There are
Wow.
literally tigers outside of his house, so
Uh,
he walks out there and
Wait.
immediately
It's LA. It's LA. I mean,
it's man versus wild as soon as he goes out the door.
I've been there. I've been there once, and it was crazy. I
You should come again.
went to Blizzard's headquarters just once, and I first got lost at the airport. Then I couldn't find my lift, my shuttle to the hotel, and it was a painful experience. But once I got to the hotel, I think it was the DoubleTree or something, then things changed. Because once you get in Irvine, it seems like this shut-in little community that's just perfect.
it is.
I don't know, I walked around
It
those
is.
streets, and
Irvine's
everything...
full of shut-ins. You're right.
I liked it. Okay, it looked so good that I could walk down the street and feel 100% safe, and it felt like I was in a movie. You know, that was it.
That's
I was in
you're right.
California.
With tigers.
What?
I didn't.
What?
I
Tiger?
love this new feature. It's wonderful.
What?
Oh, he's showing tigers.
I can't look at it. I apologize. I can't have the stream open.
That's LA. That's LA. That's LA.
Tigers, in a nutshell.
Oh,
LA
no.
Tigers. Right.
That's what I've been playing this week. Jesse, what have you been playing this week?
I have been playing a lot of SimCity, like ridiculous
Oh.
amounts of it.
I'm
I kind of love that game. Learning what I'm doing wrong is interesting. Apparently planning in that is funny, except I like screwing up because it's enjoyable because your town. I don't even know. I don't even know.
That's everyone in SimCity, though. I think there were always two kinds of people in SimCity. The guys that were obsessed with making the most perfect, efficient city ever, and the guys that wanted to build a city just so they could destroy it in the funniest way possible.
Well, here's the thing: is every time I start, it's really hard to describe my. What is that like? Schadenfreude? What like
Schadenfreude, yeah.
like that's what I have. Every time I start, I sit down. I'm like, okay, I'm going to plan this city out, and it's going to be the best, most amazing city ever.
Yeah.
And then as the sim people are like, and they tell you to like do certain things, like, what do you mean I need more industry? Like, shit. Okay, so I have to like make stuff because I don't want industry blowing on like the smokestack. I've learned that now the wind blows the stuff onto the different people, and I'm like, oh my god. And so then I think I got it figured out, and then something else happens, and then they're like, we need more this. And I'm like, okay, I got that. And I'm just working at it. And then I notice something horrible has gone wrong. I'm like, I'll fix it. And so for like a good week, I kept getting a thing where I would always build on the ocean. I was like, I want to have beachfront property everywhere. I want to have a mansion. So this is going to be great. And apparently, if you build on the ocean, you are subject to the Godzilla event. And so every single time Godzilla would come and destroy my town. But here's the thing. After my town got destroyed, I'm like, I got this. I'll fix it. And then I log out. I try to log back in. My game would be like corrupted. I'm like, what the hell? Damn it, Godzilla. And they sent out an email that was basically like, yeah, the Godzilla event in the beta is bugged, so don't build near the water anymore. I was like, oh,
Fine,
well.
maybe I won't.
So, and then I've been doing a lot of things. Like, I've been learning about economics. Turns out you shouldn't take high interest loans because my
Go
town,
on.
I was building a town that was like, it was kind of like San Francisco. I built awesome bridges, and it went out to this island, and I had this whole setup, and it was wonderful. And I had like a Manhattan-style island that was all business and like big apartments, and that was really far in the game. But in order to get to the next level, which is, you know, like expo centers and baseball stadiums, like the big stuff, you need a lot of money. And I was like, I'm not gonna wait. So you start taking loans, taking out $100,000 on a loan at like 46% interest is not necessarily the best idea.
You would make a great politician, Jesse.
And within like 3 turns, I was bankrupt. And it's like, would you like to move to another city? I was like, is it that easy? I should be a politician.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do. They just bail and go somewhere else.
I was like, holy crap. It's really, really fun. I know a lot of people are mad because
I guess on. Well, there's 3 big issues with SimCity. There's the always-on DRM that people are pissed about. There's the fact that cities are smaller than they were in SimCity 4. And there is the fact that they decided it would be a really good idea to split off content prior to launching the game and sell it as part of a special edition that's like $80 or $90. So those are the 3 things that I think people really hate about the new SimCity.
We've been having a tough time deciding, you know, in this household here, which edition to buy, because they give you all these different options, DLC that you get with the certain ones that you get, and then for some reason, the collector's edition that you buy, the physical collector's edition, which gives you a little steel box and an art book and all that stuff, it doesn't give you the same DLC, not nearly the same, not nearly as much as the digital deluxe or something like that, which also ends up costing more. I don't get it. I don't understand. And
the funny thing about the beta is that it has all of those things in it. So if you go to the sandbox map where it gives you like $1 million to start with, and there are no crazy events, it's just you can build and have fun. It has all of those in it. So I had a town that had like the Arc de Triomphe and like the Leaning Tower of Pisa in it, and I was like, this is a pretty great town. Mind you, it costs a fortune to maintain those things. Who knew? But, it's one of those games where, and this is kind of funny, and I guess it goes to how I like to play games, which is why I despise a game like Blood Bowl, where I'm like, I'll sit there and I'll get really into it, and I'm like, okay, I got this. Yeah, this sounds good. And then the minute I screw up, I'm like, screw it, we're restarting, right? I have that attitude towards this game, and I have that attitude towards a lot of games. I can't, like, if I fail, I'm like, all right, rather than have an 0-1, I'll just restart and get that 1-0 first. Then we'll be good. Like, I can't tolerate that. I'm like, whatever.
10 hours later, you're only an hour into your gameplay. It's the same thing I do.
It's officially become my editing game. After I'm done editing and I render a video, I turn on SimCity and I just sit there and play it. I have like 10 towns running right now, and the best part is you can make your own town and play by yourself and play with like computer towns that are connected to you, or you can join other people's games or create your own world that people can join in. And even though I know people are really mad about this always on thing, I kind of love the connected towns aspect.
Well, I don't think anyone was really arguing about that, were they? I mean, everyone liked the idea of it, and I know I managed to get some codes for it, and I'm going to probably be doing videos towards the weekend on the beta, and I also got codes for the misses and codes for Zook as well. And what has essentially now happened is that for the past 2 days, Jen has barely left the room and has been playing nothing but SimCity. And Zook was like
She's
awake,
smart
and
lady.
it just like didn't go to sleep because they're both been basically just building cities over and over and over and over again. And apparently it's kind of a big deal. But I guess I have people I can talk to if I need reference on SimCity. So
Yeah.
It takes me back to SimCity 4 and things like that. When SimCity used to be big. I don't know if you guys remember out there SimCity used to be big and everyone used to play it.
Yep.
And it's been so long since I've sat down and played a SimCity game and loved it this much. So
well, I mean, there was only one other one and it was dreadful. And that was SimCity Societies, which was a complete mess. That's what killed the series, I guess, but I mean, this from what I've seen of this so far, it really does just seem like a SimCity game.
Yeah. The thing is, they took what SimCity Societies had, which I did play a little bit, and it was pretty bad. But in that, you could sort of zoom in more. You could see what was going on in it. But now with a new one, it feels like the old ones, like SimCity 4, and it's still got the look of that. I mean, when you zoom all the way in, it looks better than the latest Sims that came out. I mean, you can actually see what's going on. You can see every single little house, every detail. I watched, when we played in the first beta weekend of it, I watched a whole bank robbery go down. You can see everything that's going on. You can see the robbers arrive, the police come. Yeah.
You can click a button called follow. And so if you see, like, if you click your police station, it'll show you all the police, it'll show you all the criminals in town. And so if you click on the criminal and click follow, it will just zoom in on that guy and you can watch him do his thing and either get picked up by the police or, like, escape. You're absolutely right. It's really fun.
Go on. Just keep going till he gets put in jail and you watch the jailhouse till he gets out.
Or sometimes he goes home and you can watch him go back to his house. You're like, that dude just robbed the bank. And why don't you go arrest him?
What happens if you actually then go and destroy that house or something?
I don't know, but it's actually kind of fun. In one of the videos Krender and I made, the property values around my rich people were going down because people in mobile homes were moving in. And so I just kept destroying their mobile homes. I was like, leave. And so, I was a good mayor. And my favorite part is one of the things I learned, and this is something that I love about the game because it proves that I am the greatest gamer who ever lived. The very first time I played, I built the best roads possible. I was like, you need good roads, okay? Roads are what make a town. And then I got my ass handed to me. And like early on, I was losing. I was like, this isn't making sense. So there was a bug in the thing, so we had to restart. And upon restarting, I built normal roads. But so as we're going through the whole thing, and this is probably a spoiler for Krender and I series, but as we're going through the whole thing, halfway through, my town isn't growing. I'm like, what's happening? What? And they're like, we need more people on our town, man. I'm like, my town is full. There's no more people. And then it hit me, I need roads. And then I built the best roads I could, and giant skyscrapers started appearing. And I was like, I was right. From moment one, roads make your town. Mayor Cox, vote for me. 2013.
Yes. Wonderful.
Love it.
So what else have you been playing, if anything, other than SimCity?
Ni no Kuni. I'm still rocking that game. I love it. It gets better and better and better. I want to just talk about it, but I guess since it's so new, there are too many spoilers, so I won't say a thing. But
it's really hard to go in and just like talk a lot about Ni no Kuni without it just being a gigantic spoiler for everything.
It is so like, oh goodness, the scene in what is that, Malmood? Is that the name of the place? The second town with the girl who doesn't talk and the thing, and it's so sweet. It's single tier sweet. It's wonderful.
I'm jealous of everyone playing that game. It looks so good, and that world map just attracts me to the game. It makes me think Final Fantasy VII. It's a level 5
game in a nutshell, right? You know, it's just, hey, here's an awesome world map. Go explore and do awesome stuff, and that's
the problem is that they torture you with the fact that there's hidden stuff on the world map, and then there's also treasure on the world map that respawns every so often. So if you need something, you have to go back to where it was, and it's like, I gotta get it! So much time of mine is wasted on the world map. So much time just wasted walking around. I'm way over leveled though. Way over leveled. Plus, I like collecting monsters because now I have that Pokemon vibe. I can't quit. I can't quit.
Oh.
That sounds amazing.
Some claim that Ni no Kuni was the best Pokemon game ever released.
It might be. It's really. Plus, all the little monster guys you collect are so cute.
How many are there? I mean, I heard
I
there
don't
was like
even know.
Pokemon, but is there even close to as much as Pokemon has? I mean, Pokemon has a decent amount.
What I do know is
Little
the
Pokemon to
game,
collect.
the game has an in-game book that you can flip through the pages, and there's like a bajillion little monsters in there. I'm like, oh no.
I
So
need them all.
yeah.
Catch everyone.
Plus, you're the one you start with is a little. He looks like a little midget version of you with horns and suspenders. He is a monster with a cape and suspenders. That's come on.
That's
Sounds
I
pretty
haven't seen
adorable.
it. It sounds good. Yes.
So yeah, it's terrific. It's really fun. It's very well put together. It's sweet in every possible sweet way. So you know, I would recommend you get it if you need to play an RPG and you can't wait for the next Final Fantasy game.
Is there anyone out there that can actually say that they're excited for the next Final Fantasy game?
Wait
Not
for
Lightning
E3.
Returns. I don't want Lightning Returns, but you know the others.
I love that. That was just wonderful. It's like he should have just been a nice little outro for him. And he should have just got his little hat on, got sideways, and just danced off the stage. It's like fuck off.
I imagine he and Chris Mattson backstage like did a cheers with some glasses and like snickered at each other like yeah, take that internet.
Exactly. I have to imagine it was like Blizzard. Diablo. What? Oh.
Right. It was like
The
I have a
biggest
big announcement for
disappointment
you.
in the shortest
It was-
period
it
of
was
time.
the
There was that video. Did you guys see that video? That
Everyone has seen that video. That hit
was a
critical
good
mass.
summary.
What happened with the PS4 conference video is that pretty much, I think it was Reddit, me, and Yogscast, and probably a few others of Game Station guys all kind of promoted it at once, and it went meow, and it got like 5 million views in a day.
It was a good video.
Yeah.
I looked. The guy got 13,000 subscribers in 3 days.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He did well with that one. There's no question. That was fucking hilarious.
But that was
laughed my ass off.
exactly what I was feeling when they announced the Diablo for consoles thing. I mean, that was perfect. Spot on.
No one. Oh, by the by, apparently at PAX East. I don't know if I can say this.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Can he?
Well,
At PAX East, Blizzard
That's
is announcing. At PAX East, Blizzard's announcing something else that's not next gen, not one of their current franchises, and not something else. And they're like, we're announcing it, whatever that is.
At PAX and not BlizzCon?
I read about it as well.
Really?
They're announcing something. They're announcing something at PAX that isn't a current franchise, isn't the new next gen thing, so it's not Titan, and isn't anything for consoles. It's just like we have something special to announce, and we're doing it at PAX. I'm like, oh, I don't know what that means. So this should be
no idea. But you can also play the console version of Diablo there, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. Just what I wanted.
I'm actually kind of excited to see what it's like. I mean, I know everyone's hating on it, but the fact that they've changed the game so much, or it seems like they've changed it so much, and that it's actually going to be a lot different. Maybe it's going to suit Diablo more. Maybe more people will play it. Maybe
Can't
the
be any
franchise
worse than
will
the
make.
PC version, right?
Yeah, still, maybe the franchise, the Diablo series, will make them more money, and then they'll spend more money on it. Who knows? I mean, that's obviously
It
the
already made
optimistic
them
way
loads of money.
looking at
It was
it.
like the
Yeah,
best-selling
but
PC title that year.
more. Call of
it-
Duty level of money.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I really liked Diablo, but I have no reason to keep playing it, which I think is the big problem.
How many times did you play it through? Did you just beat the campaign?
One and a half.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like that second
Pretty
time
much
while I
the
was
same.
playing it, I was like, "There's no reason for me to
That
keep playing
seems
this."
to be like the experience of most people. Like I've heard of a lot of people that have basically played the game through and they've liked it on the first playthrough just for the story, and then they've just never bothered to pick it up again. Which for some people is okay.
No,
You know-
I can't even say that. I can't even say that. I got to chapter 4 and was infuriated that I called the plot twist, and then the
Yeah,
ending was
that
even
is
more
true.
infuriating. I was like, whoa, first off, the last 2 chapters of this game are garbage. Infuriating garbage. And then I guess maybe if the story was enthralling, I would care, but I've never been more mad in my entire life.
Okay, that is story-wise,
Nah.
that is fair. Playing the game
Story
was fun.
The game
though.
was fun, exactly. I played it launch day. We went to the midnight launch. We hardly got any sleep. We woke up the next morning, and then we landed. Well, we landed with 3 people in the same room, and it was an amazing experience. Actually, just going through all of that with friends here, being able to discuss it all, the terrible plot twist and all that. We played pretty much through the entire game once, and I mean, it was just fun. The game feels good. It was pretty polished, and regardless of the story not being the greatest thing they've ever cooked up, I mean, they could maybe try and salvage it in an expansion, but still, regardless of that, I had a good time playing it. It was worth the money I spent on it, I think. Just the gameplay experience.
Jesse.
I played it for
No,
like
never-
3 hours and was completely sick of it, so it definitely wasn't worth
I've
the money I
never
spent
been
on
more
it.
disappointed in my entire life.
Oh.
I've never been more disappointed. I can truly say I've loved every single Blizzard game ever made. Like, every single one. Even, like, every single WoW expansion, like, all those
Mr.
things.
Pandaria?
Loved them. You know what? Story Miss Pandaria is terrific. The daily questing and the rating is the exact same thing as ever. So I got to, like, the max level, rated a little bit, and was like, all right, well, I've seen this before.
Did
So-
you see the new Thunder King video?
The new Thunder King trailer is terrific.
That was
right?
so good. I know, that voice.
Yes.
And
That's
the
because
fact
that's
that they
Pete.
put on
That's
that
Pete
little
from
foam
Goof
thing.
Troop.
Really
That's who it is. And so,
Great voice.
well,
and so it's in. Yeah, no, it looks. The story is great. The Miss Pandaria story is terrific. All of it's wonderful. The problem is that even StarCraft, the new StarCraft Heart of the Swarm, like the trailer they just released yesterday, terrific looking. Stories in all their games are wonderful. What they did with Diablo 3 is they just like shat on every single Diablo fan. Pretty much, they said, we're going to take every character you love, just shit all over them, and then we're going to make a new character, and we're going to make you love her? Oh, but wait, we're going to shit on that too. Chapter 4, bitch. Like, what an insulting game. It's an insulting game. And I liked nothing about it. The fact that, like, everything leading up to it, like, all the books, like the Book of Cain and like, all those things are terrific. They set up the game perfectly. And then the game came out, and it's just like, garbage.
do you think they actually go back and change that? I mean, now we know that they've all realized that everyone doesn't like the story, but do you think that actually changed that? Do you think that
It was all a dream.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh, wow.
I think
Twilight.
TB, right now, TB has the old school Thunder King patch. The new one that just came out today, like literally today, is terrific. The one you showed is the one that was like, people was like, what is this garbage? And so then they're like,
There's no way they said, what is this garbage? There's a fucking Triceratops boss. There's no way anyone actually said that.
Everyone did. When they released the trailer that you just showed, everyone was like, this is the worst, most boring trailer I've ever seen. Because it's literally like garbage screenshots of like, what's that thing? The model viewer? It looks like model viewer screenshots.
Yeah, but that's fine. It's like, it's a fucking Triceratops. What do people want? I guess people want flashy bullshit.
I think they do. And the new trailer is all flashy
That's
bullshit.
really
It's
good.
amazing.
Yes.
It's really good.
Well,
It's
if it
the
is
new-
there, it's not even on their official World of Warcraft channel, so they've evidently not managed to get it up.
No,
there.
it's unlisted. You got to check the site.
What?
You'll find it on the site.
No, just do
It's
that. I
unlisted.
can't be asked with that bullshit. Why would
It's-
they put it up
well-
unlisted? What the hell is wrong with them?
They tweeted it today
Yeah.
on like the WoW Twitter and all the guys.
That's stupid.
It's so good.
In conclusion, I do feel that Diablo wasn't the best game ever. I had fun. I didn't have as much fun as I did when Diablo 2 came out, because I remember that day 100%. That was the most amazing experience ever, going from Diablo 1 and the terrible expansion of it with a monk. But going from that to Diablo 2 was a huge leap. But I also feel that the fact that we kind of knew a lot more about Diablo 3 before going into it, it also wasn't, it made it less special. Okay, for me, Diablo 2 came as 100% surprise. The whole thing was totally unseen for me, and it was something new back then, at least. But I still enjoyed the gameplay in Diablo 3. But
I will give you that. The gameplay was really, I enjoyed the gameplay in Diablo 3. I thought the way it was set up was fun. Because I'm such a, like, the only reason to play that game is for the story for me, that anything that I loved about it was instantly gone. And that's why I'm really excited about StarCraft 2. I don't do PvP in StarCraft 2. I never have. I've never even cared. But the story of it and the maps and like the building the ships, because this PvP players killed PvP for me, because the minute it was like you have to build really fast in Zerg Rush, and it wasn't like build giant battleships in PvP, that's when I stopped caring about it. Because
Well, you
the
can
whole point of
try.
StarCraft, you can try, but you get your ass kicked. The whole point of StarCraft is to build like the biggest fleet of like 1 million ships you can. That's where it's fun for me. So I can do that. in the
Don't
normal
attack
map,
until 30 minutes.
right? I like when that was the rule back in StarCraft 1. People said that all the time.
I've done that before, exactly.
And so StarCraft 2, I'm really excited for Heart of the Swarm. It looks really cool. The new trailer they released seems pretty great. So Blizzard probably will win my love back again with this one. Because I read the book Flashpoint, so like I know the setup to the actual story going into it. So I'm really excited about all this.
Great.
Well, the
Wings of Liberty
campaign
was
is most
amazing.
likely going to be really good. I think that the only problem anyone really had with the Wings campaign was that the story was a bit derpy, and they claimed the writing was worse than Brood War. And I wouldn't necessarily disagree with them. There were definitely some very cheesy moments in there. So that's a valid concern, but the mechanics are great. Like, as a single-player RTS campaign, I don't know of a better one. Every mission has completely different mechanics and themes. They have gimmicks that are only used on one map. They have a bunch of different units and upgrades that you can't even get in multiplayer. So there's even a reason for hardcore multiplayer guys to play it, because, like, look at all this cool shit. Look at all the upgrades you can have. You can, examples are banelings that split into mini banelings. There's Zerglings that produce instantly for free. You know, there's all sorts of
Heart of the Swarm
crazy
that
upgrades.
went one up on Wings of Liberty, for sure.
It
So
looks
much
good.
better looking
I
in terms of
it
in
really
terms of the
does.
different upgrades and stuff. Yeah.
Here's the thing that I have is, as a story person, I'm a little concerned about the trailer that they released yesterday, because if you follow that trailer, it basically gives away the plot. I'm hoping it's a red herring. And
yeah, I hope they're not
what's in there-
dumbasses, because it does seem like
the trailer.
they absolutely telegraphed a lot of it.
Yeah, the trailer's like, in the beginning, it's Kerrigan, like, oh, I'm a human. Then by the end, she's just Kerrigan again. I'm like, hold up.
Yeah, but they also show, you've got to keep in mind, they also show that whole scene with her waking up from this nightmare or this dream.
That was
A
the
lot
old
of this
one.
stuff
That-
lot of this stuff that's going
one.
on
Yeah.
right now very much looks like it's dream state stuff. Like,
Yeah,
part
that's
of the
exactly
trailer.
what I'm saying. You never know.
Well, in the book Flashpoint, they do the exact same thing where like half the bookish is in her head, and you understand like what makes her tick. And so apparently she like relives every time any one of the Zerg, because she was like in charge of all of them and connected all of them.
Yeah.
Anytime they killed anyone, she has that memory of like millions of people dying. So that's like, she's messed up in the head. So she's not like, Jim didn't bring back our good old Kerrigan. She's still kind of crazy.
Oh,
and
sure.
I think what's about to happen in this next one is she's going to go rogue and try to, I mean, it's pretty obvious from the trailer. She's going to try and kill Minx, and that's like, Jim's like, why you got to be like that, baby? And then
We already
they'll
saw
kiss,
some of
and then
that.
she'll be like,
exactly.
Well, hopefully not, because bear in mind that what people are really complaining about in the StarCraft Reddit and Team Liquid right now, and validly so, is that in Brood War, basically, Reyna's like, I will never forgive you, I am coming to kill you, basically.
Right.
And then in this, it's like, I never gave up on you, Kerrigan. It's like, so which
Yeah.
is it?
I
Don't
wondered
give me
about
this.
that.
If
I'm
this,
like,
if this love
Raynor-
conquers all bullshit comes in, then Metzen just needs to be slapped. If,
Here's-
in fact,
here's
it's a
the
red
thing.
herring and it turns into something cool, then great.
That's what I want.
This is actually when I interviewed Christy Golding, who wrote Flashpoint and like all the books and stuff. I asked her about, because that's one of the things that I think is really interesting, is that in the books there's a lot of stuff in there that would be very, very helpful for people who played the games. Because at the end of Flashpoint there's a major twist, and I'm like, is this gonna be addressed in the game? Because Blizzard doesn't do that often. Sometimes things happen and Blizzard's like, hey, you just gotta read the book, deal with it.
Yep.
It's like, whoa, hold up. And so there's a major twist at the end, and so I'm like, okay, this better be addressed. And one of the things that I think happened is in the books leading up to StarCraft 2 that were written, Raynor, the reason why he's like, I'm gonna kill you, you bitch, and he's like all mad at her. That was my angry Jim Raynor, by the way.
That was good. I thought it
right.
was believable.
Good,
The
solid
reason
6
why-
out of 10.
Thank you. The reason why he's like that is because he's so in love with her that he can't believe that she's doing this, and so that's his like reasoning of just like he's angry, and so that's like how they try to sell it in the books leading up to it. So when he hates her, but then when he gets a chance to save her, he's like, oh, I can bring her back. I'm convinced what's about to happen here is it's going to be one of those. He gave in, and rather than take her out like he knew he should have, he gave in and tried to save her, and she's going to betray his trust, and so it's going to be back by the end of this. Jim's like, I have to kill you, and there's going to be like, there's going to be a tense scene where he's like, I tried to save you, but now I'm going to have to kill you. Oh, I don't know what to do, and she'll like attack him, and he'll kill her.
I really just hope that they just like that she just kills Raina straight up, like 2 missions in.
That's what I want.
Just get rid of
I want that
get rid of the character
bad. I
completely.
want her to just kill him in cold blood.
You don't have to worry about this whole my feelings crap. It's just kill him off. Done.
Time out. You kill off Raynor, you might as well build a giant statue in front of Blizzard called the Death of Our Industry, and you can put Jim Raynor, Deckard Cain, and throw Thrall in there for good measure, and just have them all banging each other on that statue. Stick it right out in front of the ruins of the Blizzard headquarters, because that's what it will be. And leave it there as a monument for other game companies to know how shitty it is to fuck with your main characters. Don't do it. You aren't Game of Thrones. This isn't Ned Stark.
They've got Zeratul to take over.
Oh, yeah, that's because he's relatable.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, Raynor is kind of the Ned Stark of the StarCraft universe.
No, he's not. Ned Stark
Don't say that. He's just the other guy.
No, but he's not. Ned Stark was the reason why he died is because he was always like truth and justice and good. Raynor's like, bitch, I'll kill all yous. He doesn't care. He's not a softie. So, he's a criminal. That's totally different. He would do very well in the Game of Thrones universe.
He's a softie for Kerrigan.
Maybe that's why like half his crew will die. I'll give them that. But look, if they kill him off again, you heard me, Blizzard. You heard me. Plus, Kerrigan's a bitch, so
that would almost be better.
They don't need Kerrigan for the next game. They don't need her at all. So the chances are much better that she'll die.
Very much do need him. Like if you follow the plot of if you follow the plot of Wings at all, they can't kill her because
she's the one who can stop the
apocalypse coming in. Basically, the Zelnaga coming back with freaking super hybrids. And you get all this stuff. You can't kill Kerrigan off in the second game unless you say the prophecy was.
So no one's gonna die.
Oh no, my brain! Why are you so smart? Oh, here's what's about to happen. Kerrigan is going to, in the end, she's right before she sacrifices herself and dies, stopping the Zelnaga. She will see the error of all her ways and like give Jim a kiss, walk into some type of awful light, and vaporize, destroying the Zelnaga at the same time. Oh, screw you, Blizzard! No,
is that at the end of Legacy of the Void, or is that?
Oh no, yeah, that's the end of the StarCraft.
Okay, the end of the whole thing.
She's gonna sacrifice herself.
No, that could work.
If that actually happens, then that is the end of Blizzard. Like, just no. I will never take them seriously again.
No one's gonna kill her because she's such a loved character, as Dodger has shown, and so in the end, she'll just sacrifice herself to save the day, and that's the one good thing she'll do to redeem herself in the eyes of the galaxy. Gross. What? What's gonna happen? Brain, no!
Alright, can we get off this topic? Because we've been on it for ages and it's hyper depressing.
The trailer was good.
Trailer was good. Yeah, that we know. Trailer was good.
TB, what have you been playing this week?
That's a great question. Let's talk about that, I guess. I've been playing a number of things. I played BitTrip Presents Runner 2, Future Legend of Rhythm Alien. It is kind of wonderful. It does. I can only play it for about 15 minutes at a time because the game gives me eye strain. It's like the game. I think it's the motion of the main character in relation to the motion of the background and how colorful the background is. It gives me some serious freaking eye strain.
It looks pretty intense.
It's a pretty difficult game, and it's a BitTrip game, so of course it is. That has a tendency to happen, but it is.
I'm really excited to play that.
Really fun. They introduce it's more than just running and jumping. You get a lot of different moves as you go through. I just got to the point where I can both glide and slide, so I need to glide in certain situations to get a hold of all the gold and get past certain obstacles, and then I of course need to slide under them. And there's a couple of other things, like there's some boss battles. Apparently there's the ability to kick and things like that in the game, so there's a lot of different things going on. It is a really pretty game.
Just run in and jump in.
There's a lot of running and jumping, though. If
No,
you
but in the
like
first
running and
one,
jumping,
was it just that?
mostly, yeah. That's what
I
the
never
original
played
game
that
was
one.
mostly just
Yeah,
running and
okay.
jumping. They've been working on this a lot. Bit Trip's a really weird franchise because I cannot stand anything else in it other than runner. Like Void and Beat are just a complete waste of time for me. I absolutely hate them, and they are the games that are too retro for their own good, and they're ugly. They have no real value to them as a direct result, in my opinion. But Runner is just great. It's obvious they knew what they wanted to do, and they did it pretty much flawlessly, and it's unbelievably good, and you should absolutely try it. There is no reason not to, unless you hate platformers. If you hate platformers, then don't even bother. But aside
I'll
from
give it
that,
a try.
the game's wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely worth checking out. Been playing more Fire Emblem. That game is really fucking hard. It's my own fault for deciding, you know what my first Fire Emblem experience is going to be? We're going to do Classic Hard. That sounds like a smart plan. It was not a smart plan. Although, I've got to say, like, my first problem with the game that I've encountered is the fact that they really are dicks in designing some of the missions. I'm onto this mission now. I'm not that far into the game because I play it in little spurts, and I restart a lot, so I'm not that far in. But I'm on a mission whereby you get in there and you start fighting and everything seems normal, and there's a bunch of Pegasus, I think they're Wyvern Knights actually, over to the side, and it's a real pain in the ass to deal with them. But what happens is, about 5 or 6 turns in, 3 Wyvern Knights appear behind your army and then get to act before you do. So they instantly run straight at your healer and kill her before you can do anything. And
No.
I almost threw my 3DS at the wall at that point. Like, you cannot be serious. That is just unbelievably dickish. So now I know that that's happened, what I probably going to have to do is go into the game, and once I know that's about to happen, pair up all my weak characters with stronger ones, and what you can do in that game is you can pair them up, and you can then switch so the guy who takes the hits is something that you determine. So I'm going to get my strongest characters to get in front of those guys, and then hopefully at that point, that will be enough. I don't know, it's mean. It is a mean game. It is very, very difficult. It punishes you for the slightest mistake. And I like it a lot. And
I was about to say, that sounds like it's right up your alley. You are a glutton for game punishment.
Yep, that is.
And if your characters die, they're gone, right? Like X-Men, Iron Man.
Oh yeah, they're completely gone.
Iron Man.
They
exactly
are completely gone. So you cannot mess that up. You cannot, under any circumstances, mess that up. So I would strongly recommend that you do not. But that mission is very, very difficult. I like the game a lot, though. It's a very, very enjoyable game. And it's the best game on handheld right now, without question. It's the Persona 4 for the 3DS. It's a system seller. It's a reason for a hardcore gamer to buy a 3DS, because the game is that fucking good.
Right.
So,
I bought a 3DS for Pokemon. I have to put that out there. I've got Pokemon, and that's it.
Hey man,
I was thinking of getting
works.
Zelda.
Yep. Never cared about
it. Enough.
Although the new one isn't out yet, though, is it? Was it X and Y? That isn't out yet. Or is it?
Looks good though.
Yeah, it actually.
No, it's not.
I will admit that looks like the first Pokemon game, aside from Conquest, which was great, that I'm actually interested in playing. So
I do think it's hilarious that the legendaries actually look like an X and a Y, though. That's made me laugh.
Something.
Yeah.
They had to do something like that.
This is so funny.
I mean, the others in black and white, the legendaries were black and white. I mean, you can't X and Y.
That is true.
Am I wrong in saying it's the first one that wasn't named after color or colors, right?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think that was right.
Crystal isn't a color, so that's something to say. But yeah. It
Yeah.
is for the
Well,
it's definitely different.
Yeah.
I think they did that on purpose because it's actually the first big paradigm shift in Pokemon for the last 15 years, so I guess it kind of makes sense.
And it's the first proper one for the 3DS. Yeah.
Yeah. Just before we get derailed on Pokemon discussion for the next hour, I'm going to finish off what I've been playing this week because I can see where this is going, and I want to avert it before that happens. What else have I played this week? I played some Omerta City of Gangsters, finally, and I like it quite a lot, actually. It's pretty fun. It's got a great soundtrack. It's got a really nice combat engine. It's turn-based, and it is very much like old school Fallout games and old school XCOM and Jagged Alliance. And I like it quite a lot. What I don't like is how the management system of the game is kind of weak sauce. It's not that awesome. They didn't really do a lot with it, which is a little bit unfortunate. I feel they could have done a lot more. Those looking for a management game, bear in mind, these are the guys that made Tropico 3 and 4, so you kind of expect that. Those looking for a management game, you're not really going to find it with Omerta. Omerta's actually more of a combat game, and it's got this sort of light management overworld city simulator going on in the background. And you can see some cool stuff going on, but you can't really, like, let's say you were talking about a game like Anno or Settlers, right, where you've got these really long production chains. Like, I want a pork sandwich, so first I need to breed pigs. And then I need to bake some bread. But to get bread, I first need to get grain, which I then need to grind into flour, which I then need to send to the bakery. And then I combine, and then I need to make the sandwich, and so on and so forth. That isn't in Omerta. Omerta is pretty much little more than make a brewery. Brewery makes beer. Sell beer in speakeasy, or sell beer to other speakeasies. Done. That's pretty much where it ends. Yeah. That's it. There's no chain of supply. There's no risk of your beer sort of being taken out on the way to the speakeasy. You don't need to get the ingredients for the beer or anything like that. It's very, very simple.
Why wouldn't that be, though? If it's a city of gangsters, why isn't there people actively trying to take out your beer supply?
There are, but only in scripted events, from what I can tell. As far as I can tell, they never, like, other gangsters. I may not be far enough in the game yet. This may happen later on in the game, but there are never times where gangsters actively go and try and take out your stuff. I have a feeling that might happen later in the game. If it doesn't, then that's weak sauce, and they really need to do something about that. Because
but is the combat actually good enough?
Yes,
I mean,
I would say that it is. It is just like
No.
think about this for a second. There's one thing that I was just absolutely surprised by with Omerta when it came down to the combat. And what I was surprised by is how much better it is than the current XCOM game. And you might think that's insane, right? No.
That's insane!
Because Firaxis is a dumb studio that makes games that I really want to like, and they constantly screw them up.
Aww.
You know what happens in XCOM where you move and you're almost sure you've moved to the place where you've got good line of sight and you've got a good shot on this guy, and it ends up not being the case. And it never tells you, and there's no way you can figure it out prior to actually taking that move. Well,
And then somebody kills you through a wall.
exactly. Welcome to XCOM. So what Omerta did was, well, what we're going to let you do is we're going to give you a lot more freedom of movement. We're going to bring back action points instead of dumb 2 moves. So everything is action points and movement points, so you can be very precise with your movement. And when you click to go where you want to go, it brings up these little symbols on your path, which indicate when you stand here, you are going to have line of sight. And even when you actually click that, it shows you who you're going to have line of sight on by putting a little eye icon above the guy. Also the same thing with you're about to move into line of sight of a guy that can shoot you. Or this is where you have to be in order to be in range, in order to get an optimal shot. And it shows all of that on this little path that you do. So you can know this before you take your moves, which means you can make way more sensible moves and
That's
not
pretty
do
great.
stupid shit. And it's like,
But
you are
the-
so smart! Oh! I love you.
The
That is the
same
smartest
stuff
thing.
actually. Does it all apply to your opponents as well? Because I mean, in XCOM, I always get the feeling that they cheat in some way. When I'm playing on classic
don't cheat
difficulty,
like in Omerta,
there's just so much random involved. Well,
Yeah,
if in
they
Omerta
don't
they
cheat at
actually
all.
put you on the level playing field, then it makes much more sense.
Yeah, it
But
takes a lot more
in XCOM,
shots
they
to
definitely
kill
don't do that.
somebody in a murder, which kind of helps in that regard. Like in XCOM, you can just get one shot by a lucky crit or whatever. That doesn't really happen in a murder, which is kind of weird for immersion because you can take a lot of gunshots, which is like, what? That's kind of weird. And I guess the way that you get away with it is to say, oh, well, he's not really taking a gunshot. This is just kind of his luck running out or whatever. There's I used to, I think that was the way that you used to do that in the Time Crisis games and things like that. But I like the way that in that game you've got a lot of different weapon choices and they're all balanced. You think, oh, give everyone Tommy guns. That's the best weapon, right? No, it's not, actually. Tommy guns are super inaccurate. And you actually take a lot of damage from your own guns in that situation because they spray everywhere. So there's a good enough chance that you hit your own dudes rather than the enemy. And each weapon has different sets of attacks. Like, Tommy guns are actually really useful for suppression and taking out destructible terrain. If you want to be precise and want to kill people, you want to do it with a rifle or a pistol or a baseball bat. Baseball bat is like one of the most powerful weapons in the game. It hits like a fucking truck. It hits harder than guns do. You just get in close and you smack them with the bat. And the bat's got an AoE attack as well that you can choose. So you can just swing and hit everyone in a cone. And you can also get, every time you hit someone with it, you give them a concussion debuff. So they actually lose a bunch of action points and things like that. So they balance the weapons in a surprisingly cool way. And overall, like, it seems like the game is a tactical combat game with a tacked-on management part. Yeah? And if you're okay with that, you'll probably have a lot of fun with it. And I actually like it a lot. I played like 5 or 6 hours of the game. I got really immersed into it. I had fun. But, you know, I think as I play more of it, I'm like, I wish the management part was better. I really wish it was. But aside from that, I think the game's pretty freaking good.
But that would generally be the thing that would bring you back if the management was actually good. Because,
Yes.
I mean, the combat's going to be sort of the same no matter what you're playing against or fighting against or who it is or whatever. It's going to be much the same. But if you can actually, you know, work on that big city like you do in SimCity, or like
Then
Jesse
you
does
have
in
a reason to
SimCity,
come
then
back,
yeah.
It's got a sandbox mode, but the problem is the game actually works better in campaign because a lot of the events are scripted. So if you don't have that, the game seems a lot more boring than it really is. There's a lot of waiting around to do stuff as well. You send all your guys out, and then you've got to wait for them to come back. You can't really do much until that time happens, but it doesn't really take that long. I think a lot of reviews really over-exaggerated the amount of downtime in that game because it doesn't take long at all for you guys to complete the task and come back and be ready for the next task at all. You don't sit around doing nothing, and yeah, I like it.
It's funny. I mean,
it's fun.
I hear you now saying it's a good game, but I mean, I didn't read a single really good review.
It has a bad Metascore.
That's why
it really
I'm
does.
kind of shocked about it.
And I think it's a perception problem. I think people completely missed the point of the game. Like, they expected a management game because it was the guys that made Tropico 3. And when they found it wasn't a management game and it was actually, in reality, just a tactical combat game with some management elements in it, they slammed it. And I think they've missed the point completely. So there you go.
Oh.
I like it. It's fun. Good game.
Sounds good.
Yep. There's anything else I played? Obviously played Dota, as I always do. You know, nothing surprising. I did play one other game. I played Metal Gear Rising. I actually...
Revengeance.
Revengeance.
How did you like it?
Freaking vengeance. Oh my.
Do you like the cut mechanics?
I love the cut mechanics. I don't think they're bad at all. I think that if you think they're bad, then you don't like the notion of slicing up a cyborg into 400 pieces. It's got a piece counter. Like, it counts the number of pieces you've sliced the thing into. I just went crazy on a set of boxes at one point, and I sliced them up into 1,000 pieces. I sliced them into so many pieces it slowed the game down. This is ridiculous.
Just go.
Yeah, and it is a thing. I do very much like Platinum games. Pretty much every Platinum game that's ever been made is good in some way. And this is no exception. I don't care about the plot of Metal Gear because I've never played the previous games. And the fact of the matter is this is a spin-off. Yeah? So this is a game you can play if you haven't played the previous Metal Gear games. It's a completely different style, and it is a spectacle fighter. And what it does incredibly well. It's got a really nice moveset that is very enjoyable to do. It's got this ninja run mechanic, which allows you to bypass a lot of what would have otherwise been awkward obstacles. It pretty much eliminates the problem with bad platforming. And
What kind of FPS does it run at?
60.
I'd like to know that.
It runs at 60 frames per second.
No, see,
It's
that
a
is
console game that runs at
essential.
60
If that was
frames per
30,
second. And it looks good, too.
If that was 30, I wouldn't have touched it.
Yeah, it's very surprising. Most games these days don't run that well, and this game really, really does. It runs beautifully. It is an incredibly fun game. And it's got some weird mechanics, like it doesn't have the dodge. I mean, it's like the only spectacle fighter I've played that doesn't have a dodge, which is so bizarre. And like,
Yeah, that is weird.
This is weird. But what it has is a parry mechanic. There is apparently an offensive dodge roll that you can get later on in the game that's designed for basically like a charge into combat. But at the start, you have a parry mechanic, which means you've got to press one button and you've got to push the analog stick in the direction that they're attacking you in. And then you can parry the attack. Most attacks can be parried, some can't. You've just got to use your ninja run to kind of run around them. And at that point, you can counterattack, and then you just slice them into pieces. The slicing mechanic, the cut mechanic, which is where you charge your energy to full, and then you go blade mode, and then you slice people up. And you slice people in specific ways, and you can then grab, I don't know what it is. It's like you grab their spinal column and eat it, basically, and you get a bunch of energy back. It's just I don't even know what's going on with that. But.
So, a lot of people that I know that have played it, one of the things that they've said is a drawback for them is that it's like almost impossible to die because you are constantly like gaining energy back when you fight things.
Ever fought a boss then? I think that they're definitely right in certain scenarios. If you're fighting normal cyborgs, it's very hard to die because, as you said, you can gain stuff back very, very quickly. Yeah. However, if you are fighting Metal Gears or if you are fighting bosses, it is much more difficult because you can't do that. And like I haven't played a huge amount of the game yet. I've played maybe about an hour. In fact, I could show you the boss that I'm stuck on. It goes by the name of Blade Wolf, and it's a dick. It is a dick. This boss is a dick. And I think it's just because I just haven't quite got the parry mechanics down yet. But this is a condescending wolf. Yeah. No, I'm deadly serious. This is a condescending motherfucker of a wolf.
There's a buzzsaw on his tail.
Chainsaw for a tail.
Excellent.
And it constantly insults your intelligence, which is, it's like, fuck you. And it's, you know, it has a couple of different waves, like what you're seeing on the screen right now is it summons a wave of cyborgs. This is like, oh, you took damage in the first wave, here's a way to get it back. But then it summons a Metal Gear at you, which is much harder to get health back from. You can do it, I think. I mean, you can see here, this is how you get health back. You slice them in a very specific way, and you grab their spine or whatever, and then that's how you get your health back. Metal Gears, I'm pretty sure you can do that, but I've never successfully done it, because they can do a huge amount of damage to you, and actually fighting them is a lot harder. So that's definitely something to consider there. And then Blade Wolf will do these attacks where he'll jump on you and stick his chainsaw through your face and do like half your health worth of damage. It's hard, you know. I need to practice at it. I'm sure once I get the vibe and once I understand the phases of the fight and how the block works, this guy that I'm showing here is way better than me. All credit to the Rad Brad, by the way. This is his footage. He is much better than I am at it, but you can do some pretty awesome things. And oh, you can cut his tail off. Wow. Okay. No, you can't. Never mind. It looked like you cut his tail off. He's just being a dick. Never mind.
Your mind is just blown. You're like,
yeah,
what?
It's so fast and so fun. But I'm loving this game right now. It is super fun and it's got some great mechanics.
What difficulty are you playing on?
I am playing on hard, which is probably why I'm struggling. So.
And then there's one above that again, right? I mean, that's not the highest one.
I think that is the highest one. I'm pretty sure you've got to unlock the other one.
Ah,
so,
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Also,
Fine.
this Metal Gear that's on the screen right now sounds like a cow. I shit you not, it makes cow noises. I don't know why, but it does.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Just in case, if you
because
wanted,
why not?
You wanted cow noises, you can have cow noises.
Why?
It makes cow noises. Not really sure why.
Are you really? Yeah.
It's
Did
Metal
you really
Gear.
Just shout why at a thing that was pre-recorded. Jeez.
I just thought it was funny watching it just have the Y over and over, and he's just like.
It makes cow noises. What can I say?
Makes cow noises.
Yep.
So.
It's a really good game, and I'm enjoying it a lot. And I've heard rumors that the Metal Gear Solid HD collection for PS Vita is going to be on PlayStation Plus, which means I might end up playing the original games. Who knows?
Yeah.
That might happen.
They were good. They were lots of fun.
Yep. And they just put out Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 Plus on the Vita as well. So if you want to play another Ninja Gaiden game without the shitty camera angles that the original Ninja Gaiden 2 had, then that's available. So I think I'm going to pick that up too. So finally, there's Vita games coming out again, because Urban Trial Freestyle, I think, is out too, which is apparently the next game in the Trials series. They just couldn't call it Trials for legal reasons. So it's basically Trials on the PlayStation Vita, which I'm definitely looking forward to playing. So yeah, things are looking up.
Excellent. Excellent.
A lot of console gaming, actually,
Nice.
but there's plenty of PC gaming coming, because I've got to play Brutal Legend. Again, I play that on console, but I want to play it on PC. Looking forward to that. And there's a few other games. There's...
Tomb Raider? Are you looking
Yes,
forward to that?
Tomb Raider's coming soon. Hopefully we'll have a video of that within the week before it comes out. Hopefully that doesn't screw up. We'll see. So yeah, that's what I've been playing this week, for the most part. And I think that's a good time for us to go to a break, because we've been running
Indeed.
on far too long already. So let's take a break, ladies and gentlemen. You are currently watching the Game Station podcast. We'll be right back with This Week in Gaming and the news that is coming in your general direction, as well as a few trailers here and there. Do not go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Game Station podcast. What would I do for Klondike Bar? What I would do for Klondike Bar is eat it while on air in an utterly unprofessional manner.
Oh God, yes. This makes it worth it. All of the moments that you've called me unprofessional, it makes it all worth it.
I sacrificed my credibility for a Klondike Bar.
Now I feel kind of bad for finishing my food before we went on air again.
I tried, but Klondike Bar.
No, don't feel bad.
Oh.
Don't feel bad. You're now the most professional
It
person
should
here.
be the new norm.
Great.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I
Shut
had
up.
something
I'll
much more
eat.
exciting. I had sweet potato. It was great.
Yep.
Sometimes
Incidentally, if
I love
Klondike Bar
sweet
wished
potatoes.
to
Sometimes I hate it.
sponsor the podcast, we're more than open for that.
No.
Listen, if they send me some,
No, don't do that.
It's delicious.
Klondike, I don't like your products. I don't want you
Oh, wow.
supporting this podcast.
I think our
This is where the
podcast should be
schism
sponsored.
begins.
Our podcast should be sponsored by what I just linked to you guys in chat.
Mm,
That's
right,
who should
I was gonna have
sponsor
a look
our,
at that.
What
who
is
should
it?
sponsor this podcast.
Wrap snacks.
They're
Well-
potato chips with wrappers on them.
Wrap snacks, potato
Young
chips.
Jock and Romeo.
99 cents.
Young
Oh,
Jock
God.
Honeydew. He has honeydew cheese curls, and little Romeo has barbecue with my honey chips. I bet there's more flavors too, and they should sponsor us. Wrap snacks.
All right.
Westish, Midwest represent.
Midwest.
Apparently, there is a commercial for these.
Oh God,
Wrap
please show
snacks.
it.
Hold on. Yes,
Oh.
wrap snacks. Wrap snacks.
Oh,
we
my.
need you.
This is... Oh, Jesus. Okay. This is quite the thing.
Yes, I'm so excited to see this.
This has got to be a parody. This must
Wrap
be a
snack.
parody. I don't think there is a real commercial for these, as far as I'm aware.
This is real. Look at this guy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
G, what up? Whoa. What
Please
is
tell me
Jason
that was a parody.
Wrapsnacks.com. I'm going there immediately.
What is
Please.
Jason Brody doing there?
Please tell me that was a parody, please.
Jason Brody.
Wrapsnacks.com is not showing up when I try to go there.
Oh, wow. Well, we might have crashed
what
it
a-
already. I mean, that's a possibility.
I'm really confused why the star of Far Cry 3 is selling wrap snacks, but apparently he is.
Oh.
I think
Yo.
that might have actually been a legitimate commercial. I think that was it. It came out like 5 years ago, but oh yeah, we crashed rapsnacks.com.
Yeah,
I'm
we
gonna go to
killed it.
Amazon.com and see if I can order wrap snacks. Amazon.com. Wrap snacks. Wrap
It
Wrap
features
snacks.
only local rappers, apparently, so
Oh.
it actually
Local
seemed...
to where?
Like, as much
Local to
as
what I was
we
about to
actually
say, huh?
mock this, I suppose that's kind of cool for up-and-coming rap stars or something and supporting local talent, but I don't know.
Having their face on
Okay,
a packet of
I
chips.
need people to confirm this for me. Go to Amazon, type in wrap snacks chips. The first and only result I got was Uncle John's unsinkable bathroom reader.
What?
Snacks, chips. Uncle John's unsinkable
Unsinkable
bathroom reader. Yeah,
What?
that's what I got.
Something has gone horribly wrong in the world of SEO. Good lord.
And popcorners was
It's
other one.
by the Bathroom Readers Institute. There's an institute for people like me. I read in the bathroom. That's the only time I
Wow.
read is in the bathroom.
Okay, wait.
Do you ever
So
get
the
through
other thing that
like
I
that?
got was Master P's Wrap Snacks Potato Chips Platinum Barbecue sealed bag, not for consumption.
What? Someone later on has got a sticker that says for rectal use only, right?
Does
Wrap
Does
snacks.
that have a wrapper on the front?
What?
Wrap snacks, you can get them at taquitos.net. I'm looking at them right now. Wrap snacks, honey barbecued flavor.
Honey barbecue.
That is with
There's
babe.
no
No,
photo.
wait, hold on. This is a different. This looks like a different brand because it looks like this
Is
is
there some
wrap.
kind of war between the two brands of wrap snacks going on? Is it like
Oh,
East
I hope
Coast wrap
so.
snacks versus West Coast wrap snacks? There's a
It might
beef?
be.
Is there a beef?
There's all sorts of beef, guys.
Is there a male rapper named?
That's a real possibility. They could have a beef and then make a combined flavor, which is
Have
the
a
beef.
A beef.
Yeah, a beef.
Look, if there wasn't
A singular
then
beef.
how
I'm a genius.
entertaining could they really be? There has to be.
Oh, well, wait, first off, Warren G cheesy nacho flavored chips. I'm getting those. Master P barbecued flavored chips. Oh, dang, Little Romeo. Okay. Oh no, this is the same brand except they changed the packaging.
Oh.
So now it looks.
They
very-
rebranded.
These have been around for a while. This clip that I'm showing you right here is from 2007. So
God. Look.
this has been around for a while.
Look, I'm just saying, internet. If you want to send us wrap snacks, we will eat them.
I just for sheer curiosity. Yeah.
Dude, they have a Facebook page? No. No, wait, I think they do.
Wrap
Maybe.
No,
snacks.
they
Uh, uh,
Whoa, if you go to Tumblr and type in wrap snacks, people are posting photos of the wrap snacks packages. Oh my god, how many photos are there?
Apparently this is legit. So
It just keeps going.
TGS broadcast brought to you by Wrap Snacks.
Wrap snacks.
wrap snacks.
Find the rapper in you.
My favorite
Wrap
part is
snacks.
that young jock
Wow.
sells a brand of flavor called Honeydew. I'm just saying, I know there are Yogscast fans out there. Why don't you go and
Did
find
they
those?
seriously make a watermelon flavored chip with a black wrapper on the cover? Really? Are you
No,
serious?
is there one?
No comment.
That can't be.
Send your
No.
anky letters to.
Wrap Snacks.
Yeah.
.com.
exactly. Yeah. Wrapsnacks.com. It's their fault. All right, let's do news. So,
Okay.
you want something that's even more rage-inducing than that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you'll love this. So, you remember that Goldman Sachs technology conference we were talking about that sounded like literally the most insufferable thing ever? I've got
Yes.
a better
Yes.
one.
Okay.
The Morgan Stanley Technology, Media, and Telecom Conference.
What?
You don't say.
I shit ye not. Blake Jorgensen, the CFO of Electronic Arts, was speaking there.
Whoa! Whoa! What was this dude's name?
Blake
Jorgensen.
Jorgens? Fuck him! That's not his name.
It is.
No,
It
no,
really is.
all right. His last name may be Jorgensen, but I'll be damned if his first name is Blake. you cannot change your name to
I
Blake.
cannot imagine that some parent somewhere thought that was a great idea. It's like, yes, our surname is Jorgensen. What would be? And I'm going Germany. I can't do a Swedish accent. Can somebody here do a Swedish accent? Somebody.
No, his
No.
name
Where are you?
his name is clearly like Björgensen, and then he's like, I'm gonna go to America and name myself Blake. Fuck you, Blake.
Damn.
Not even people named Blake want to be named Blake. Shut up, Blake.
Blake Jorgensen, CFO of Electronic Arts, speaking at the Morgan Stanley Technology, Media, and Telecom Conference, spoke on the subject of digital sales and games content. The quote, the next and much bigger piece of microtransactions... the next and much bigger piece is microtransactions within games. We're building into all our games the ability to pay for things along the way, either to get to a higher level,
Okay.
to buy a
Okay.
new character, to buy a truck, a gun, whatever it might be, and consumers are enjoying and embracing that way of business.
Oh, the
Who
phone.
the
What?
fuck is enjoying and embracing
I
this?
don't agree with that. Point
Wait,
me
hold
to
on.
one person.
Wait.
embracing it.
So who is this guy referring to? All games?
Oh, every
them.
game, every EA game, every one of them.
EA.
Every
All of them.
EA game?
Wait. So they want to make all EA games microtransactions?
No, they want to have EA games with we're not implying that they're going free to play. They're just adding microtransactions into
They're
a
adding
game that would have
microtransactions
otherwise
to all
been a
games.
normal game.
All right. Here's the
Sort
thing.
of like Dead
is-
Space.
Exactly like
Norm-
Dead Space.
Normally,
Yeah.
I would say to them, "F y'alls, I'm out." But I honestly, it finally hit me, and I think it has to do with just like I'm obviously not going to win on this one with them, but
Probably not.
they keep releasing all these microtransactions things. you do have the option not to purchase them.
Yes,
So-
but here's the counter to that. Trust me, I've been dealing with this argument for a while because people have been making it.
I have to say, while we're here, EA did buy me out with swag, Dead Space 3 swag, so I am firmly in their pocket now. I want to let you know.
Just making sure.
Internet, I am firmly in the. Have you seen this box of shit? It's amazing. So yeah, I am in their pocket. So keep that in mind.
Okay, so here's the counter argument to what you just presented. The whole you don't have to participate. The counter argument to that is that what generally happens when you put microtransactions into a game that doesn't traditionally have microtransactions is you have to build the game from the start with the idea that those are there, because it fundamentally affects the actual balance of the game and could do so in a very negative way. The biggest risk is that they deliberately make parts of the game worse in order to encourage you to buy microtransactions. Maybe they make the resource gathering so incredibly slow that it's utterly impractical to do it other than mass grinding, so you give in and you buy stuff. Or they turn it into such a way that the only kind of weapons that you can get in the game are just flat out inferior to the ones that you can buy, or maybe a really fun weapon type is something that they charge you for, and then you end up in a really bad spot. And
I can agree with that. If that's the counter argument, that's a very valid one, because you're right. I think that's something that they would do. It's something that you shouldn't do, but I think it's something they would do. I agree with you. You're right.
Yeah, that's something that EA would definitely do. Yeah, and this argument we've already had about free-to-play games, the way that if a weapon or something that is clearly more useful than another weapon, which shouldn't happen, but every now and again you run into a situation where they fuck the balance up. PlanetSide 2 is a good example of this, where they basically made it so it takes quite a while to unlock air-to-ground rockets for your Empire-specific fighter, and the thing that you get by default is extended fuel packs for your afterburners, which is nowhere near as useful as the rocket pods, yeah? But the rocket pods take a while to unlock, so people are like, well, because it takes so long to unlock this, you could perceive this as kind of pay-to-win-ish, because it's easier just to drop the $6 to get the rocket pods. And if you start doing that in single-player games, it fundamentally affects the way the game is designed. And it means that pacing is usually all off, balancing goes to hell, and all sorts of other horrible things happen. Not to mention the notion that this encourages them to create content before they release the game that is designed specifically to sell you later. So slice it off, get some little pieces, and then sell it to you later on. So instead, that $60 game actually becomes an $80 game, and you're seeing that with SimCity. Prime example is SimCity. If you want the kind of English stuff and all those other buildings, you have to buy the collector's edition, which is like $80, $90. So it's already happening. We're seeing it.
Can we commission a study to ask the people in Europe who made Train Simulator the #1 game for like weeks, yet 90% of that game is buy more tracks for like $8 a pop? Can we ask what? It was super popular. Clearly, there's a market for it, and I think EA sees something like that. It's like, people will buy it anyway. I don't agree with it. I wouldn't buy it, but I'm curious.
I can explain Train Simulator for you. I can explain
Please
this.
do.
Yeah, I can, because it's designed for people that would have otherwise bought expensive train sets. And they're selling the content at around the kind of price point that people are used to buying actual model trains for. That's their logic.
Look,
yeah? And apparently that's worked out very well for them.
But it's not tactile. You can't, like, model trains, half the
I
fun
know-
is like
yeah, I know
playing
it's not
with the model
tactile,
train.
but you do get that full simulation. You get
what
the full
they've been doing
simulation.
here now, the whole thing is something that's been going on like these iPhone games, the iOS games, that they probably get an idea from that, because that's been a thing in iOS games, in single player iOS games for so long already. The game feels terrible if you're not actually spending anything in it, but once you spend just $1 or $2, then everything just flows exactly the way you'd expect it to from a normal type game. And now, I don't know which mobile games EA are into. Maybe they're just looking at the numbers on the mobile games.
They
because
run
the mobile games are selling.
Simpsons Tapped Out. Yeah, this is actually part of the quote that he referred to Simpsons Tapped Out as his justification for this, which is a fucking cow clicker, I might add. Simpsons
Yes.
Tapped Out, for example, is a free-to-play game, leverages, obviously, the Simpsons TV show. You pay all along the way. It's wonderful what they say at these conferences because they blatantly don't give a shit about PR because they're talking to other greedy fucks. So
Right.
they are totally fine with blowing it out like this quote, like, you pay all along the way. Last quarter, we did over $25 million in Simpsons business alone. So there's an opportunity there, probably a smaller opportunity on a per-title
see-
basis than something like FIFA or Battlefield.
That's exactly it, because a lot of other companies are probably doing even better than they are with these iOS mobile games, and they just want a piece of that. They think they can bring that exact same business model to PC, but I honestly don't see how it'll work. I mean, imagine these in-game purchases in something like Mass Effect. I mean, I know Mass Effect already received a lot of hate.
I was going to say, they kind of
but
already,
the game
they already
series
have that.
itself-
Like,
Not in the
multiplayer
multiplayer, not in the
has it,
multiplayer.
yeah.
that doesn't really count. But in the single player, imagine how bad a game that would be. I mean,
They kind of still
sure,
had it, though.
it didn't-
That was Cerberus Network allowed you to do that to some degree. Although it didn't allow you to buy stuff like credits and things like that, which you can do in Dead Space.
no. You did get extras and stuff like that, but in my opinion, it wasn't really something you, at any point in the game, needed or would have helped you out more than the stuff that's already in-game would have.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
To some degree, I would definitely agree with that. The risk is, of course, that the next Mass Effect game comes along and you basically have the ability to buy credits. And you might think, well, that's fine because I'm not going to be a dumbass and buy credits. Yes, but what happens when they change the design of the game to encourage you to buy credits? So you get less credits the normal way. I mean, what happens when you get that kind of influence? This stuff should not be in single-player games because of the risk of that. Yeah, I don't trust
exactly.
EA not to fuck the game up in that regard. I don't trust them. I have no reason to trust them. They have
How
done
do
this
they
shit in
get-
the past.
Yeah.
That's
I agree.
really that's really depressing. EA, come on.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. They went out of their way to become bigger villains than Activision, and that takes a lot of work for a couple of
Yeah.
years. How do you
gotta
look
say-
worse than any time Bobby Kotick opens his mouth? How do you do that? that takes some special talents. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not
I'm
keen.
I'm not a fan.
Mm-mm.
No.
But it does go to show you that that's one of the major problems. Just like with any other industry, when more and more big names start aggregating games and smaller companies start dying off and they start buying all the franchises, eventually just be like a few giant super companies running the whole show.
Well, I mean,
That's
at the
why
moment,
independents are so important.
Yeah, definitely. At the moment, that's actually kind of going the other way, mostly because hey, THQ went under, but like these franchises are going all over the place right now. I mean, hell, we have Koch Media and Deep Silver actually own Saints Row now, and a bunch of other stuff, and they're actually kind of a smaller publisher. They could do some pretty cool stuff with that.
Did another company publish the Deep Silver games, or does Deep Silver self-publish?
I can't remember.
Because
That's actually a question I can't answer.
Because it feels like a lot like even
They're the
it
same
feels like
company
most
as
things-
Koch Media, I think. They're actually like, as far as I can tell, that they founded a label. Koch Media is a group, yeah, and it was founded in 1994. They then founded a label called Deep Silver, and Deep Silver publishes and co-publishes some titles. In fact, they publish a lot of shit. Wow, holy shit. Since 2003, they've published over 200 games. So they're a publisher within a publisher. I don't think Koch Media actually directly publishes anything anymore. They do it through Deep Silver. That's kind of their subsidiary.
No, yeah, definitely. I see that right now. I honestly thought that Dead Island was published through something else. I did not even know.
But
That is interesting.
But they make games as well, though, don't they? Because Dead Island was developed by Techland. They don't make games. Deep Silver do.
So Deep Silver just publishes.
Yeah, Deep Silver's a publisher. So yeah, I keep thinking because Deep Silver was involved in a bunch of stuff like, say, the X series, and that's made by EgoSoft. It's not made by Deep Silver. And Techland is the guys that made Dead Island, not Deep Silver. So yeah, they're the publisher. They're a publisher beneath a publisher, which is always kind of funky and weird. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Independence is so important. There's no question. And the good thing is that you can kind of make really good games now and publish them independently on Steam, assuming that Steam doesn't get bitchy and decide, no, we're not going to let you on. And then you can make a bunch of money and you don't have to worry about this shit. So
I gotta say, there are a lot more indie games coming out that I'm excited for, and a lot more excited for than these big AAA titles. So they're doing something right. And come on, Mass Effect with in-game purchases, that doesn't sound good to me. I'm not excited for that.
It doesn't, but it'll have it. I can pretty much guarantee it. If this is what they're saying outright, yeah, we want to include microtransactions in all our games, then yes, the next Mass Effect game is going to have microtransactions in it. And
you're going to pay for a better FIFA player, a better soccer player.
Yeah, apparently you can already do that. FIFA? Like, isn't there some like weird system where you have to buy booster packs of players and shit, and you get random cards and stuff in the latest FIFA? I don't follow those games a lot, I have to admit. But I mean, Battlefield obviously has been monetized with 4 separate pieces of DLC, optional unlocks for everything, and a couple of other different things as well. Next Battlefield's probably going to be even more so. Season passes are a big thing, but I mean, I don't have a problem with Season Pass DLC. What I do have a problem with is microtransactions within traditional games. They shouldn't be there. If you're going to do microtransactions, you do them as part of a fucking free-to-play game. Yeah, you don't put them in a traditional game. That's what DLC is for. It encourages lazy development practices. It encourages content to be drip-fed to you at a higher price. DLC is already bad value for the most part, right? It's already terrible value. Loads of people have complained. Borderlands 2 is a great example. The DLC for that game has been really sucky. Just like the first Borderlands only had, what, one really good piece of DLC in the form of the Secret Armory of General Knox, and the other 3 were mediocre to terrible. Same problem with Borderlands 2. All sorts of different games have bad value DLC, and now we're having that split down even further. It's like, how much more can you split up this content and then ramp the price up? How much can you do that?
We don't know that they're going to go, well, that they're not going to go with free-to-play yet. I mean, they didn't say that they're not going to go with free-to-play, but are we just assuming that the game's just going to cost a solid 60, and then you're going to have to buy more extra? Is that just the assumption, yeah?
That's the assumption, you know? It's EA. Assume the worst.
Yeah,
and then when anything better
yes,
happens,
I mean,
be surprised.
If it was anyone else, then I would have still had hope. But I mean, come on, a free-to-play game with microtransactions can be done right. I've enjoyed PlanetSide. It works incredibly well.
PlanetSide's pretty good. It's got a couple of problems, yeah? I mean, I love that game to death, don't get me wrong, but I will happily say that the fact that the default gun on the Liberator, for instance, it does have higher DPS than all the other guns, but it's impossible to make that DPS work because you can't hit every shot. So the Zephyr or the Dalton are better guns than the default guns, and that's pretty much a fact. The other thing, like the air-to-ground rockets, better guns. A lot of other stuff, really not so much. Like, people say, oh, well, you can just buy a heavy assault gun, and that's much better. It's not. The default weapons are just as good, if not better. I would more happily use the default LMG than use the mini chain gun, because the MCG is so fucking situational. But there are plenty of good examples of free-to-play games where buying power and stuff like that doesn't happen. And you know what has happened? None of those games are published by EA. None of them. EA is really bad at it.
Obviously not.
But Battlefield Play for Free and Battlefield Heroes. 2 examples of... Battlefield Heroes was a really good early example of dreadful microtransactions. Like, blatant the buying of power and things like that. Battlefield
I never
Play
even
for
played
Free,
that.
No, it's not that great. Battlefield Play for Free, same problem. They just don't get free-to-play. Either or they don't want to get free-to-play. Because they're successful enough, because people keep buying into their big franchises. Simpsons Tapped Out made them a shitload of money, and it's not even a game. It's not even a game.
But that's exactly why. That is exactly why they're continuing with this. And in my opinion, it looks like the iOS market right now, at least, is, I mean, it's selling a lot more than, well, some of the franchises at least, a lot more than the PC games are. And they obviously want to try and emulate the same kind of thing on PC. I mean, we said it before.
You need to keep those separate, yeah? iOS is a wild west of bullshit microtransactions, as anyone that's ever used iOS games will clearly attest to. It is awful. The amount of stuff you have to buy for no apparent reason. They shove micro purchases into everything and attract you with an initial low price. It is unbelievably bad. And that is okay because for the longest time it was separate from proper games. And it's like, okay, fine. There's bullshit going on. Doesn't matter. It's on my iPad. I can avoid it. Right. And now it's creeping its way into real games. And I'm not fucking happy about it.
Well, what are you trying to say, Jesse?
Nothing.
Let's hear it.
I have nothing to say. Oh, is this where I make, like, I had nothing to say. Sorry. Hold on, let me make a joke, like, guys, I think we're being a little too hard on EA. Send me more free stuff. There we go.
There we go. Cool.
It
Done.
looked like
I'm glad you got that
you
in
kept
there.
almost saying something and then deciding not
No.
to. So I figured.
No, I was gonna say stuff, but then points were made, and so I didn't have to remake them. I'm not gonna waste our time, people.
Anybody got time for that?
We got other topics. We got other topics.
He just wants more Dead Space stuff.
Dude, I love Dead Space.
I saw it.
It's a good
Yeah.
game. It's a
My
good
favorite
game.
franchise.
This is
So
what makes
excited for us to play that together.
This is what makes everything terrible. Yeah. The thing is that EA still makes good games. Dead Space is a good game. Mass Effect, good game. All the games that they make are good. And this is what makes it terrible, because we want to play those games, and yet EA will, as a result, shove every awful business practice they can at us, because they know that people will cave. And I don't blame them. It's like, I will buy SimCity, even though there is bullshit going on with SimCity. I will buy SimCity because I don't actually view those issues as important enough to stop me from playing the game. And a lot of people will do the same thing, because at the end of the day, it's still video games. We're not supposed to be activists about everything. And, God.
Yeah, but when things get this bad, then you've got to think to yourself that it's just not, how it should be. I mean, that
Not worth it.
SimCity right now, it's not the worst thing that's ever happened. I mean,
No, it's not.
At the moment, it's only the launch DLC, and they haven't really said much about what's going to happen afterwards. But I do expect
They're monetizing
that
the
they're going
shit
to add
out
more.
of it.
I just hope it's not going to be as bad as The Sims, because I don't
It
know the
will
last time
be.
you've actually looked at what's going on with The Sims, but all
It will
those
be.
stuff packs and all the little mini expansions that they release for a ridiculous amount of money, that gets a bit much. I just hope they don't do that with
The
SimCity
stuff
as well.
thing, I mean, that stuff's mostly cosmetic, though, right? All of the stuff packs, they're kind of like
yes,
Katy
but come on,
Perry's
isn't The
fashion
Sims
pack.
all
That doesn't
about
really help you in the
cosmetic
game.
stuff?
They have that?
It's all about.
Yeah, there's
Katy
a Katy.
Perry's fashion pack.
Yes.
Yeah, there is a Katy Perry's fashion pack.
For your girls or something, something with other things and Snoop Dogg on top.
Yes.
Snoop Dogg on top. That's
You want to know what it's
Hashtag
called? It's
Snoop Dogg on
called
top.
Katy Perry's Sweet Treats.
Oh God, even better.
from the California Girls.
It's
Music
exactly the
Holy
California Girls thing. I
crap.
know.
There's
Do you get to just look like a dessert?
who is this person? I'm sorry. I've just
Hello,
run
Papa
into
T.
a channel I've never seen before. Apparently, pretty much does nothing but The Sims, from what I can tell. Called the
awesome.
Quixon. They have a 39-minute review of Katy Perry's Sweet Treats.
Well,
Sounds like the
no,
best
no,
possible
no.
channel.
Wow!
Oh my God, yes. Okay.
And they've got a shitload of views as well. Apparently, there's a lot of interest in this stuff. I guess nobody else does this, so I guess it makes sense. But oh god, it's got different. They have different messages for loading, adding frosting, adding food
Oh, yeah,
dye,
The Sims games
licking
always do that.
lollipops. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus, it's so pink. Are you quite finished?
The damn thing's still loading for me. I can't even see it.
Oh. You stopped it before we even got to see an outfit.
It's okay.
I'm looking
Here
at an
is the
outfit.
outfit.
Oh,
Dun,
kinda
dun,
ready.
dun.
Yes! Perfect.
See it.
I don't see the whipped cream
Oh,
boots, but
snap, Maury.
okay.
Oh,
that's
Maury.
all right.
40 minutes of this. 40 minutes.
There are a lot of new items.
She has a
With
lot of
Finding out.
911,000 views. This
Yeah.
person knows what she's doing. Good Lord, I have a lot of respect for this person. She got someone to watch 39 minutes of Katy Perry outfits in The Sims. She is a
Yeah,
fucking
man.
genius. If she's not on TGS yet, we need to hire her right now. Because
You're
I'll
on
tell
it.
you what, no one else in our network could get people to watch 39 minutes of this bullshit. I tell you that. Something's going horribly right here.
Never know.
Challenging 70. Oh
Is
my
that
God.
coming up next, JC?
The entire
Oh,
time.
yes.
The only way I do it is
Sims
if the
video
entire time I can sing and just not do anything, just keep
Okay,
saying
this is
that
just
over and
cheating.
over
She's
again.
going through every outfit. There must be thousands of these bloody things. No wonder it takes so long.
One of them is a Girl Scout outfit, but she looks like a whore. Who would let her in the Girl Scout?
Oh my. It's
I mean,
this
is
stuff.
why I played The Sims, though. To be
Yeah.
fair, like these sort of reviews would totally suit the sort of Sims player that I am, where I just like go through and make somebody who looks ridiculous, and then I'm like, I don't really care if you live your life. I'm just gonna go make
Isn't that
people.
what people do with The Sims anyway? You make someone, you kill them, you make someone, you kill them.
You make
Lock them in a room. You force them to do
sometimes
horrible
people
things.
get really intense about it. They're like, I have 6 generations of the same family, and it's
I get
They're all
bored and just build a
interbreeding.
box in the backyard and drop them in the box and let them die.
You see, I've seen that happen a lot.
yeah.
Does that make me a killer? It puts the lotion on the skin.
Or else
like a
it helps
problem
get the
I
hose
have.
again, man.
I thought the best way of doing it was making a pool and then removing the ladder.
Then you
That was
remove
the
the
most
ladder.
best-
That's another good one. Sometimes there was a bug I remember in the original Sims 2 where if you made a kid and made it so that they were really bad at listening, then you would tell them to go to school or tell them to go to the bathroom, and they just wouldn't do it. So they'd just like stand in the same spot and pee themselves and then die because they wouldn't listen to you. It was really awkward.
That's intense.
My brother used to do that all the time. He'd like make a bunch of kids in the same house and be like, "Go." It was
Why, though?
ridiculous.
Some people find enjoyment in that kind of thing. It's The Sims is very, very good for a sadism simulator. It's extremely good at that. But anyway, the thing about this stuff is that you can mock it. It's funny that there's all this stupid shit in The Sims. However, it's really not that obnoxious because it's just a bunch. It's
I'm sorry, keep going.
Yes, yeah, they were pretty good, like a good solid 8.5. But anyway, there very much is a market for this stuff, and it doesn't really take a lot of effort. It's cosmetic. If they do a lot of this with SimCity and have all these cosmetic options, and they sell them in game later on, I don't care. That's fine. The problem is if they start to make a bunch of buildings that are super useful and actually really matter, and they charge you for that. That is going to be a problem. And
But that's what they've done so far.
What?
I mean,
not with Katy
the whole
Perry's sweet
superhero-
treats they bloody
No,
well didn't.
no. With the SimCity stuff. That's what they've done so far.
Oh,
with
what, the
superhero
heroes
headquarters
and the hero and villain
and
lair, for
yeah.
instance, that comes with the
That
pre-order.
sounds like fun.
And yeah. I mean, that sounds like something pretty legit and something that a lot of people would want. And that
Like
comes
fighting
reminds
games,
me-
normally it's like costumes and things.
Katy
Sorry.
Perry had a
Yeah.
movie I need to go see at some point. Just that reminded me this
I
thing.
know, man. It came and went. It came and went.
What were we talking about? I got confused. I
Sims
saw.
and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's the collectors. There's collectors editions and stuff for the Sims. I need to actually load up my Origin client and.
I got taken away to a magical world, so I didn't. I was
what,
gone
by
for a
Katy
little
Perry's
bit
type 2 diabetes. Is that? I'm just saying. Yes, the digital deluxe edition is available for SimCity. I'm gonna just check prices on this. So this thing costs $80, so it's $20 more. What does it have in it? It's got a bunch of city sets: the British city set, the French, and the German. Yeah. Now, the concern, I suppose, with that is, one, this is coming out before. I've said this time and again. This is day one DLC bullshit. Yeah, shouldn't be done. If this came out like weeks down the line, wouldn't really have too much of a problem with it. The bonus content, the heroes and villains set, looks like something that's actually legitimately useful. The British, French, and German city set, yeah, they're useful actually. They're not just. These are not just cosmetic things. Basically, you have more services as a result of having these. The French police station is apparently more efficient. You can get a double-decker bus station in Britain and high-speed rail in Germany,
wow.
as well as placing Big Ben, the Brandenburg Gate, or the Eiffel Tower to attract more tourists, which raises land value and gets you a bunch of money. So this stuff is not just cosmetic. That I have a big problem with, and this is the example of what I'm talking about here, is that they could very well release this stuff as microtransactions later on and include a bunch of really good buildings that you really want that isn't cosmetic and nickel and dime the shit out of you. Instead of what they used to do, which was get a bunch of really good content and then release it as an expansion like a year down the line, or even just release some really good DLC. No, this is microtransactions. This is, you're going to pay $5 for a fucking building kind of stuff. I hate
It does
that.
keep people interested in the game continuously rather
Well, of
than
course,
like
if they're spending
playing the
hundreds
game
of
for a little
dollars,
while and then.
I
Yeah.
imagine they're quite intrigued by it. You know, they become invested in it.
Yeah.
There's a fallacy. Was that the sunk sunk profit fallacy or something like that. Sunk.
Oh God, I loved studying fallacies.
Cost sunk. The cost sunk fallacy or the sunk cost fallacy. Yep. What this means is that it's a fallacy of you believing that because you've already sunk some money into it, you'll get more.
You'll get more out of it.
You'll get more out of it, exactly. And you
For
can't
some
give
reason,
up on
I
it because
understood
you've already
that.
invested in it.
I knew
Good.
exactly what that
I'm
was.
glad you did. I'm glad you did. Thank you, Lumen.
Before he even said
Thank
anything,
you.
before he said a word, I knew exactly what that was all about.
Dodger's phallic studies are well known.
Uh-huh.
Wah, wah, wah,
Mhm.
wah, wah, wah.
I had to explain it there.
I'm glad that you both got a good laugh out of it, though.
Thank you. Oh, we did. Oh,
I know.
we
I
did.
saw. I was watching.
Shall we move on?
Sure.
We've got. So we've got a couple of news articles. We really only have one. We only have time for one before we go into trailers and things like that. So I'm going to give you guys the choice. I want to hear votes on this. The War Z is back on Steam.
Don't care. No one does.
THQ auctioning off remaining franchises, including Darksiders, Red Faction, and Homeworld. Command and Conquer preview, which the chances are you haven't watched, so it's utterly pointless for me to talk about it. Should we do the THQ thing? Because I think it would be interesting to speculate on which publishers are going to be taking this stuff. So, those of you who don't know, THQ obviously is basically shutting down, which is really unfortunate.
What?
They have already sold off a lot of franchises.
What? We were all on the podcast together when
Jesse,
we talked about it.
With you.
Shut up,
Oh,
Jesse.
It's called acting, Dodger. You wouldn't know, you hack.
Oh wow! Wow. Go on.
Burn. Sorry.
Wow. That's
Fine. Okay.
Anyway.
God, my head hurts so badly.
Do I have to
Right
put the litter
now.
box down? It's getting pretty fucking catty in here.
That's been a general theme since the very start. I don't think the viewers have realized it, but before this even started, we knew it was coming.
Pretty much. Anyway, so let's get back to it. So yes, THQ is shutting down. A lot of their franchises were already sold, but not all of them, which includes Darksiders, Red Faction, and Homeworld. Now, the weird thing about Vigil is like the Darksiders guys are pretty much all moved over to Crytek for the most part. Crytek USA hired most of Vigil, which is great news because that means people don't lose their jobs. Yay! What's not good news is that Crytek said we have no interest in continuing the Darksiders franchise. So they bought the guys behind Darksiders but didn't buy Darksiders. So that leaves Darksiders kind of in limbo. And it also leaves Red Faction, Homeworld, MX as well, which I assume that's the bike racing game or the quad bike racing game, right?
Okay.
Is
Yeah,
it?
the MX series, MX Reflex and things like that. So that leaves a bunch of other stuff. There is also apparently a big bundle of software which includes, let's see, it includes a bunch of stuff like Frontlines Fuel of War, Full Spectrum Warrior, Deblob, Destroy All Humans, Drawn to Life, and U-Draw. U-Draw, by the way, is the thing which was largely credited as collapsing the company. So fuck U-Draw and everything it stands for. I don't think anyone's going to want that. There's a couple of other things like licensed software like Double Fine's Costume Quest and Stacking, which could mean that Tim Schafer and Double Fine actually get it back because they didn't have the IP rights to that. The publisher did.
Huh.
So they could get that back.
Take time to buy that stuff.
Yeah, they could make a new Costume Quest, they could make a new Stacking, they could spin something off it. But I want to kind of speculate and talk about which publishers would you like, and developers more at the point, would you like to see get a hold of Homeworld, Red Faction, and Darksiders?
You know, I just want Homeworld to go to someone that knows what they're doing, because that series of games was amazing. I don't know. I enjoyed. I spent a lot of time with Homeworld. For some reason, the whole space simulation thing it works for me. But I mean, who could really make a proper Homeworld game in this day and age? I don't know. We haven't seen anything. There was another series on Steam. I think you guys spoke about it before. What was the other grand space simulation thing? Was it the?
I have been playing Sins of a Solar Empire like crazy.
That's it. That's the one. Yes. What? Who made that? Those guys
Sins
should
of
pick up
Solar
Homeworld.
Empire
And
is made by Ironclad.
they don't sound like they can afford it.
Probably not. I wouldn't want it to go to them, honestly, because I don't feel the combat aspect of that game is a strong suit, and as a direct result, I'm not really so cool on them having it. Who would I want Homeworld to go to? Because I want someone who at least has some strategy experience, but also someone that has some space experience. That really narrows it down, because there are not that many. There are not that many companies that have that, unfortunately. So, yeah,
Blizzard, you want this?
please no.
That's not quite.
Homeworld story
What
was
you
really
thinking,
good.
I'm
Please
sure.
don't give it to Blizzard. It's not a very good idea at all. I don't know who that should go to. I really, really don't. Like, it probably should end up going to sort of a relatively competent indie dev, because really that's the only thing that I can think of that would actually make any sense at all. And I can't think of anyone that really so much deserves to have it, and that even makes sense to have it. So
Would they be selling this at a reasonable enough price that an indie dev that's doing well enough could pick it up? I mean, I don't actually know. I
Homeworld
didn't look at the
they
numbers.
haven't made a Homeworld game in like 10 years, so probably, yeah. They most likely they could sell this to a reasonably large indie developer. I know there's an Indiegogo campaign going on right now to raise money to buy it, but I don't trust the devs because they haven't actually made anything ever. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to give that to
good.
you. So that's not really ideal as far as I'm concerned. So it's a hard one. It really, really is, because again, it is a very, very cool game. Actually, I do know who I wanted to give it to, but I know that they don't have the money. And it is the guys that made Nexus: The Jupiter Incident. They would be really good at it. That was an amazing game. The main problem is that they don't have any money, and their recent Kickstarter just failed. So there's literally no chance of that happening. So they were trying to make Nexus 2, which I was super excited about, and not enough support
It
got behind
failed?
it.
Oh,
Yeah,
that sucks.
it failed. And
Why not
that's
just
so
get
sad.
CCP to buy it, and then they can just...
No, they'll add more spreadsheets. Don't do that. But get rid of all of the fun elements of the game and turn it into a giant economic simulator with stocks and shit. No. Absolutely not. Don't let them do
I
that.
want that? I'm
Fine.
confused.
Okay. If you say so.
I don't know.
So the others are Docksiders, Red Faction, and
Yeah,
MX.
Darksiders and Red Faction. Jesse, what do you reckon?
Darksiders.
Who should get either of those guys?
I don't know if anyone will pick them up, honestly. As far as I'm aware, Darksiders, that franchise was always a money loss for companies.
It did not do well, unfortunately.
And Red Faction, I don't know that anyone really I don't know anyone who's really in love with that franchise. There
like
must
Red
be
Faction.
people, but I don't know people who are like, I can't wait for the next one. Like, I don't have that feeling towards either of those franchises like I have for, like, Saints Row 4. When I heard that was getting picked up, I was like, woo, sigh of relief. I can see Saints Row 4 now.
Yep.
And nothing in me is like, I need the next Darksiders game, or I need another Red Faction game. I just don't have that. So
Yeah.
I guess I had the same feeling for Homeworld. I just don't. I think that's why they're still left in the wind, because people see that trend. Like, all right, whatever. Do what you do with
I
them.
think this is about
I
the
would quite
time when
honestly say,
Homeworld
yeah.
would do well coming back. Yeah, I think this is that time, because PC's got a lot more strength now, and a lot more people are looking for strategy game experiences and things like that. So I think this is a good time for Homeworld. But I do not disagree with your opinion on Red Faction. Like, the last Red Faction game, I liked it, but it got rid of a lot of the stuff that people liked from Guerrilla. Yeah, the thing with Guerrilla is Guerrilla was an open world, what was the song that Idle Thumbs did? Space Asshole. It was a space asshole simulator. You went around, like, you could destroy buildings with a sledgehammer. You could everything was destructible, and that game, fuck the plot. It was just do stupid shit with explosives. Red Faction Armageddon was a lot more linear. It had a lot more fun guns. Like, it had a quantum singularity gun that sucked stuff into a fucking other dimension. It had the magnet gun, which you put one magnet on one side, one magnet on the other, and then they just smashed together. You could do that with enemies as well, which was amazing. The magnet gun was the best weapon. All sorts of other stuff. But it was very linear experience.
Yeah.
The open world stuff was gone. And a lot of people really didn't like that. And Armageddon didn't do very well as a direct result, I feel. So, do you make another Red Faction game? How do you make it? Do you go back to its FPS roots, or do you stick with the third-person game? Do you go open world with it? Because we have a lot of open world games now. Yeah? Back when Guerrilla came out, there weren't that many. Now, there's all sorts of them, and people are making open world games left, right, and center, so perhaps it's not as special anymore.
Can they really do that, though? I mean, with Red Faction, they've had these games already. They got, like, a clear and defined set of
I don't want to say rules that they have to go with, but there's a lot more. There has been a lot more going on in recent years with Red Faction than something like Homeworld. If someone picks Homeworld up, I would assume that of these franchises here would be the one that people would just want, because there hasn't been a game for a while. They're going to have a lot more freedom when they want to set it up. And as you said, the PCs have just come that far. So
The downside,
you know, is it
that,
even going to sell? Is Red
down-
Faction even going to?
Yeah, I don't know about Red Faction. Like, I think of those 3 franchises, I feel Red Faction is the least likely to get picked up right now. Because
Really?
I really don't think it's got the brand value at the moment.
Maybe MX.
No, and I would say
MX
that.
will totally
I mean,
get picked up. People love that license shit. Yeah, that'll get picked up.
the problem I feel is like the 3 franchises we're talking about. One isn't profitable. The Darksiders franchise is making no one money.
It makes
Yeah.
and it's expensive to make those games, as
Right? And Homeworld, I feel like it has potential, but no one would know anything to do, like how to make that happen. And Red Faction doesn't have it doesn't have that brand recognition. People are like, I have to have it. It just, people sort of know it exists and move on with their day because they just don't care. I don't think any of the 3 are getting picked up. I mean, they might, but I don't think they will.
I think that Darksiders, the world of Darksiders is so interesting, but the games have never been interesting to play for some reason, and I can't quite understand why. And so I'd love to see it get picked up. I'd love to see somebody else do something with it, but I don't think that it'll happen.
I always thought that Darksiders just had a very generic feel to it. I mean, the world was interesting, as you say, but the gameplay itself, it didn't have anything that special. If you look at something that recently released, we were talking about before, Revengeance, there are some interesting new mechanics that they throw in there.
Yes.
The game is different than other games of the same type out there right now. Darksiders, the only thing that's different is maybe the story and the lore behind it, but the gameplay, it's very, very, very much generic. I don't know.
Yeah, when
Zelda.
Darksiders 2 came out, I was really excited for it. And then I played it and I was like, this just isn't, there's nothing that is grabbing me in this game right now. Like, it's literally, I literally was playing the game for the cutscenes because the cutscenes with the characters and the voices were great. And I was like, that is not why I should be playing this game. Like,
I mean, Darksiders has always been pretty much Zelda, yeah? And they were very open about it. They wanted to make a dark Zelda, and that's exactly what they did. I mean, fuck, the boomerangs in there, the hook shots in there, bombs, everything. Darksiders 2 went a bit more action RPG with loot drops, which was really weird, I might add. That didn't make any sense at all. I don't know why they put that in there. And I know Platinum Games has expressed interest in picking this up. If Platinum picks up Darksiders, it might very well be the best thing ever. Maybe.
that could be really cool.
That could be amazing. If they just...
They could make a decent game.
Of course, the risk is they just turn it into a giant spectacle fighter, which a lot of people don't necessarily want. I do, because fuck puzzles and platforming. You know, I want big fighting, and I think they could do all sorts of things with that. But it's, I don't know, it's hard to say. And I think if anyone was going to pick up Darksiders, I think Platinum's the best bet. I really hope that they grab it. That would be good.
Yep.
Oh.
Well, there you go. That's going to stay THQ. Yep, it's sad. THQ was my favorite publisher, and then they decided to make U-Draw and fucked everything up. I want to find out the guy responsible for coming up with that, and I want to hit him. I want to hit him very hard. I want him to bleed.
Yeah.
Not just financially, physically. Alright, so let's move on to some trailers, shall we? A little bit less depressing. I have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 trailers for you to watch. Yes! You want something cheesy? I got two cheesy, 1 awesome, and 1, why is there Irish drinking music happening? So, shall we begin with cheesy or uber cheesy? Which do you prefer? Should we ramp up the cheesy?
Can we make a sandwich? Can we do cheesy and then the 2 in the middle and then end with cheesy?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Shouldn't it be the other way around, though?
No.
What kind of sandwiches are you
The
making?
best
I
kind
agree.
of sandwich. Cheese on the outside, bread on the inside.
Have you guys never had the backwards grilled cheese before, where there's cheese on the outside of the? It's real good.
What's on the inside if there's cheese on the outside?
More cheese.
Obviously.
Obviously.
That's not backwards.
Obviously.
It's not backwards. That's just gluttony. That's a totally different thing.
So
Welcome to America, Jesse.
We need more cheese on this grilled cheese.
great.
Uh,
Okay, so just go with the uber cheesy first.
Which one is it?
You want? No, we'll go with. I think I know what we'll go with here. I think we're going to start with Dragon Commander because I laughed so hard at this trailer. I know this game's not supposed to take itself seriously because Larian does a lot of crazy comedy stuff with their games. And quite frankly, this trailer is hilarious. So
Awesome.
we're going to go with Dragon Commander. So here's the latest trailer from that. It is by a company called Larian. These are the guys that brought you the Divinity series. And it's quite something. Let's have a look.
Welcome, recruit, to the Dragon Commander Academy. Sit down and listen up, for you've a long way to go yet before you'll be worthy of your title. Now, on your ship, you'll be surrounded by princesses, politicians, and other assorted parasites. Listen to their advice, but don't let them manipulate you. You are the commander, not them. Don't forget your studies of the art of war. And don't neglect the benefits of new technologies. Play your cards right and outsmart your enemies by moving your armies about with great military cunning. When in battle yourself, close coordination between your land, air, and sea forces is imperative. You have at your disposal formidable forces, but screw up and we'll all end up as demons chewing toys. So think and strategize to win the day. Oh, and by the by, since you're a dragon after all, do use your arsenal of unique powers from time to time. Nothing like a barrage of searing fireballs to seal the deal. And in case you need practice, and you will, you can always take on other dragon knights to hone your skills. You probably won't last much longer than the others. But perhaps you'll surprise us and lead us to victory. Give it a shot, why don't you? Larian Studios presents Divinity Dragon Commander.
We're here at Fragment.
That looks amazing. I'm sorry. The dragon has a fucking jetpack.
I know what.
I was about to ask about that. Now, why?
I actually did an interview with these guys months ago, and they explained it's like, well, we wanted you to be able to get into battle faster. We thought the best way to do that is to stick a fucking jetpack on the dragon. Like, all right, cool.
That makes sense.
Makes perfect sense.
Jesse, you look dubious. You don't look convinced.
No, it looks, you know,
looks
it looks
hilarious. Cool. Like, it kind of cool.
I don't know if hilarious is the word I would use. It looks cool. I think it's worth at least a play, but you know, it's. I don't know. It's a game.
Jesse, where the hell did your enthusiasm go, man?
Well, I'm not. Look, it looks interesting. I just don't know that it's. I don't know. I can't claim that
Like, a whole bunch of different games shoved into one.
Yes,
I don't
thank
know.
you. Thank you.
I get the feel of. Was it called Giants?
Giant Citizen Kabuto? Yeah.
I get that feel when I look at the dragon flying part. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the visual style that they're going with there. But that game was amazing. If they have a mix between that and then a Risk type overworld map type thing, and then you can still interact with the people in your base and stuff, I think it could be fun. To me, it looks like a lot of fun.
Could be.
Here's the problem that I have with it, and the dragon jetpack, amazing looking. The parts of the game where you're like on the ship and interact with people, amazing looking. The problem that I have is that there's cards, there's a map where you move stuff around, there's a battle system that you have to go when you fight the battle, then there's a multiplayer feature. There's so much there that in my heart of hearts, I know that means with so much there, it means that it wasn't fleshed out enough.
Yeah, potentially it's trying to do too much. And
That's
as a result,
what I
it
feel like.
doesn't necessarily manage to pull it off. That is,
Right.
You're totally right there, and it wouldn't be the first game to pull that off either. Like, what's the name of it? King Arthur. Yeah, those two games. Exactly the same problem. It's like, oh, it's a Total War style RTS, but it's also an RPG, but it's also a text adventure, but it's, none of the bits really work all that well. Yeah, it's Jack of all trades is definitely risky. Very, very risky.
Yeah. It looks cool, but I don't know if it's something that I would be like, it looks awesome, because I am immediately worried when I see so much in a game.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't disagree. I'm hoping they nail all the parts of it, but if they don't, then yeah, you're damn right it could suck as a result.
If anything, it's worth looking out for just to see if they can actually pull it off, or even half off. Because if they can just get it halfway
Definitely.
right, it's probably going to be amazing. So,
And I do like
I'm
the
keen.
look of it a lot.
yes.
I at the beginning when it was just like you're on a ship and there are cards and there are creative like monster people, I'm like, okay, this is great. And then
They were really
there's, like,
creative
and then-
too. I love
Yeah.
like, the way they look super different, and there's like there's a lot of creativity, and they just look exciting and vibrant.
Right, and but then it's like, and then we have this. Oh, and then we have this,
Uh-huh.
and this. Oh, and then a jetpack dragon. I was like, all right, we've gotten a little too much stuff here now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It definitely would be worth checking out, I guess. So
Yeah. Yep. That could be the problem. Okay, so we're gonna put the super uber serious trailer in there, and then we're gonna do the what the hell is this Irish drinking song, and then we're gonna do the super cheesy Tomb Raider trailer. So let's do
Okay.
that.
Oh god.
right.
Okay.
oh,
So,
so is the next one the
Remember
game
Me.
I've been waiting for like ever? Because I hope so.
If you've
Which
been waiting
Remember
for
Me?
Remember Me,
Remember me, Capcom? I'm so excited.
yep. This
Okay,
is a
let's
trailer.
do
This is a
it.
new
Great.
trailer for Remember Me, which is developed by Dontnod and published by Capcom. It's supposed to be coming out middle of this year, hopefully, and it looks fairly awesome. So let's take a
It
look
looks
at their
really cool.
latest trailer. Here we go.
Can you hear me? Yes. What is your name?
Nilin.
Nilin.
Who are you?
I'm the voice you have to listen to if you want to live. My name is Edge. You have to trust me, sis. The year is 2084. And this is Neo Paris. The enemy is memorized.
Nilin, seems like a lifetime.
I'm sorry. I have no memory of you.
You were a memory hunter, Nilin. The best. Other hunters merely pillage memories, but you can remix them.
Remember us.
Edge was right to bet it all on you. Everybody's counting on you!
What was that? Miller, your little games don't scare me, madame. I'm here to get my memory back. Why did our enemies erase my memory? Am I really that dangerous? I can feel the power that scares them so. The power to take what someone is, to rewrite their history, to play God.
There you go. That is a look at Remember Me, which is supposed to be coming out the middle of this year. It is supposedly a mix of a bit of interactive cinema stuff, so kind of Heavy Rain-esque, and some third-person, some stealth, some action, things like that. So it looks incredible. Don't get me
It
wrong.
looks
I'm still a
dope.
little confused about how things are supposed to work, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah, no, the thing that gets me is I almost feel like it's a lot of it is stuff we've visually seen before, right? But the mechanic of changing memories and then remixing the memories, when I saw that at E3 last year, when the guy was like demonstrating it, you couldn't even play it, and they had like a 5-second like, here, take a look at it. But I was like, that concept's so cool. If they can pull that off, this could be an amazing game.
What was the demonstration like? Like that process?
Basically, what happens is you can like it's not QTE. It is something entirely different. I wish I could tell you what that's called, but there's fighting, and then there's an entire level like above that where whatever you do, like you can go back. I don't want to say Sands of Time, but that's kind of the gist of like that's the simplest way of explaining it. And so you can remix certain things and edit the game. I don't even know how to describe it.
It almost sounds like Ghost Trick, like to some degree, where you're manipulating stuff in order to get the desired outcome.
Yeah, it's the concept is very cool, and so yeah, like you're fighting in memories. I don't know. I'm down for that. That seems I like the idea. So
Sweet.
if they pull it off, it could be amazing.
I don't know what the hell's
I
going
was
on with
looking
it,
at the
but it looks
concept
fun.
art. Yeah. The game's concept art came out long before we even heard about the game. And I had that as my wallpaper, like the different cityscapes and stuff that they released for so long. And I was so interested in it. It was before it was called Adrift, I think. And before that, I mean, before the game was actually properly released and stuff, this concept art was so fascinating to me. I've got it on my wallpaper right now. And the game's look, the visual, the feel that they got going for it is to me, like, for me at least, a big thumbs up. But when it comes to the fighting and the actual gameplay moving around the world, it all felt a little bit flimsy to me. I don't know, they didn't show much of it in this trailer now, so from what we saw
I think he has it up on the screen.
I do, yeah. This is actually from Tokyo Game Show, I think 5 months ago. This is what the combat looked like there. They have this kind of God Hand-esque element of where you basically build the combo.
Yeah, you build your combos.
Yeah.
And by unlocking more memories, you can unlock more abilities and then combine them together. So, and I think that's just what the guy was talking about, even though you can't hear it. The further you get in the game, the more things you learn, and the more you can mix them together to make like ridiculous combinations.
Wait, is it like?
And you do that.
Is it like she has a copycat ability? Like she
No,
reaches into somebody's memory and she can replicate things that they can do, or
she's not only is she going through other people's memories, but her former job was she is like I'm not sure they said it in the trailer, but basically she's.
Hunter.
Most memory hunters can go in and they destroy people's memories or like rip out parts of it. She could go in and remix it so that they would completely forget it, but it wouldn't ruin them. So she was like the best there ever was. So she has like all these abilities innate in her. They erased her memory,
so she doesn't remember them.
So she's unlocking stuff as you go through the game, and that's how you get the abilities. Yeah.
Okay.
So and the fact that you can make combos, what I love about that is that in most games, down the line, like. A really good example is some of the older Devil May Cry games, like different combos and things like that. I would just not care, and I would focus on passive abilities, because after a while, just spamming like X, Y, I would just give up. This, I can make a combo that I'll functionally remember constantly, and make several, like a healing combo or a bunch of different combos. And since you made it, you know what they are, and you can make it fit your play style, which is so much better. So much better.
Yeah.
So do you make those? You don't make those on the fly. You make those before you start the fight, and then you can just use them yourself whenever you want.
You can pause the game at any time
is that how
and
it
just
works?
change it.
Yeah, no, you can edit at any point. Yeah.
Okay, I get it. No, but to me that looks great and all. The idea of being a memory hunter sounds really good, but it's just something about the actual game that seems now the game is better, but the animations just seemed like they were, I don't know, and just the actual gameplay, the feel, the
yeah, you're kind of breaking up there, I'm afraid. We can't really hear you, unfortunately. It's like we've had connectivity problems. It's just a blip in the connection, no real big deal.
Okay.
Should be back on. Yep, we're back on. Cool.
Yay!
So your general point, essentially, before everything broke up and went horrible was, the combat system does kind of look a bit flimsy. It's hard to say. I mean, that's they often tighten a lot of that stuff up prior to it. It's often down to how good the animations are, how well they actually interact. It doesn't look like the combat's supposed to be super meaty anyway, because honestly, you're playing a pretty sort of lithe, agile girl instead of playing a big, beefy kind of guy. So you would expect more agile, floaty combat. The question is it satisfying? And if it's not, then obviously it sucks.
To me, in a game like that, the idea that they've got going should be enough to carry it. The combat would obviously be secondary. I mean, your memory hunting and the whole world that you're in and the story should be the front runners in what you're expecting to, get from this game. I don't know. So, in my opinion, it still looks great. I'm excited for it.
Me too.
That's pretty cool. Okay, let's move on to Sangfroid, Tales of Werewolves. Just the name in and of itself is intriguing. Things are, you just shut up, turn on your speakers, your headphones, listen to this because it's just beyond bonkers. Here we go. There you go, Sangfroid, Tales of the Werewolves. Apparently that was Lower Canada folk music, you know, because that's clearly something I know a lot about. But yeah, that was pretty insane, honestly.
It looks awesome to me. That looks super fun.
According to the game, that's real life. So that happened
It
in
used
Canada.
historical
dang.
weapons, yeah, definitely.
Yes.
I mean, that happened in Canada.
I
To
will.
me,
Huh.
that looks exactly like Orcs Must Die Enhanced Edition. I mean, it's like Orcs Must Die, just much more. And
Yeah.
in my opinion, a much better sit-in as well. I mean, that just looks great.
It's
I do.
real.
I do think it's hilarious that they had the like super Irish music, but it's apparently taking place in Canada. Question mark.
We all know that the Canadians developed super Irish music.
Right. That is true.
To fight werewolves.
naturally.
Right.
It looks
With
actually
their
like
lumberjack.
there's a really old game that I played on the Sega Saturn that was really not very good, and it was by the name of The Horde. And it looks kind of like that. The point of the Horde was that you had a certain amount of time to prepare your village to defend against the Horde, and then you had to defend the village against the Horde. And it was ridiculously difficult and fucking terrible. But this game looks like it's a lot better than that. It's definitely got that Orcs Must Die vibe, certainly, but it doesn't do everything in the same perspective. So it's a little bit different, because the strategy element and going to the store and everything like that, all of that is done from a completely different perspective and angle. And it seems like there's a lot more pre-preparation of stuff. You set things up, and then you activate them in third person, but you also fight. So it's definitely got a bit of the Orcs Must Die vibe, but it's clearly differentiated there. It looks
Yeah, but there's also
pretty cool.
There's less focus on the combat as well, as far as I can tell, at least, and a little bit more on the strategy. But
To some degree.
the only complaint I'd have is that it looks like an iOS game or something like that. But if it plays well, I wouldn't care too much about the visuals.
Yeah.
It's not a good-looking game, but at the end of the day, that's probably the least important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks good.
Yeah, man.
And that's been greenlit now, so should be heading to Steam fairly shortly. All right, you want some cheese? I can give you some cheese. It is the Tomb Raider UK launch trailer. Holy shit. I don't know what it is about the UK and trailers lately, but we're really bad at them. The stuff for the Wii U in the UK was dreadful, and now we have the UK Tomb Raider launch trailer. Dear God, prepare for the cringe. Here we go.
Peggy 18.
When I washed up on the island,
My life as I knew it was over.
But my life as you know it had just begun.
Those who live here want to hurt me.
Kill me.
So I must fight.
I must embrace what I am. I am fast. Bold.
brutal.
I am agile. Tough. I am daring.
Courageous.
Dangerous.
I am strong. I am Lara Croft.
That was amazing.
Oh my
god.
What a terrible trailer.
I'll join you on that one. That was.
Holy shit, that was
Whatever.
bad. Wow.
Whatever.
What made
That
it even
was-
worse is the fact that somehow the download I got slightly off-synced the audio, so that it wasn't even lip-synced. It was
good. Even
What that was
Oh, that
Fuck
was-
y'all.
No, that was terrible.
The amount of passion that those actors look, this may be the only gig I get. I'm going ball to the wall.
That Irish
guy.
Yes. Irish guy. He was the best.
That was amazing. The best part is the Asian chick at the end, Laura Croft. Oh shit. Maybe you are. Damn. That was Here's the thing, though. There's one.
Oh my god!
In between clips of people who probably have never touched a Tomb Raider game, I saw a scene of her climbing, and I immediately was like, "No!" Because I'm really excited for the new Tomb Raider game, really excited for it. And I saw the climbing bit where it was a pathed climb. Yeah, I was like, "No, totally I was not.
I
happy
saw
about
a lot
that.
of that. I saw
Not
a lot
happy
of that.
about
Already.
that.
I watched a little piece, a little interview. I think it was Conan O'Brien that did a review of it, which was obviously also amazing. But they showed a lot of stuff in there that didn't look all that great. I don't know. It seems like Lara Croft seems to get herself into the same situations over and over again. They skipped forward. They started the game out, and then they were hanging somewhere tied up. And then he skipped forward a big piece into the game, a big chunk further, and he was in the exact same position.
Look, dude, it's a fetish, okay?
Damn.
Okay.
Let's not go into that. There's already been a lot of controversy surrounding that idea with Lara Croft. Let's not even think about it.
Well, they were complaining about... Look, I think the big thing was the whole rape issue in the game.
We're not going into... I refuse to... We're not discussing this on the show. It's not happening... Because this has been done to death. I am shutting this down right now. We're not going anywhere with
Let
it.
him finish his thought.
No.
Where is he going with it?
He is our guest. He is our guest, TB.
Which means I have more rights than he does. This is my house, my rules. God damn it.
Yes, but you're in America right now, and this is our country. So as a guest of ours...
Hey, I'm a permanent resident now. I got my fucking green card. You can't say shit to me anymore.
Hard now.
You're not a citizen, though. And under the rules set forth by the Starship Troopers, I can say to you, as an official citizen of the colonies, that you are not welcome here, and that Lumin can finish. Please, sir, do.
It's not about any of that. I was just saying it was pretty intense, okay, because she got impaled. I think it was through her chin all the way out the top of her head, and that was a little bit grisly, okay, in that, and it happened with Conan O'Brien playing, I think, 5-6 times in a row, and then just when he thought it was over, it happened again.
Well, that happened in the other Tomb Raider games as well. It's like, how many times do you fall on spikes and die, or be ripped to shreds by a T-Rex?
The other Tomb Raider games, they didn't look as good as this one. They didn't have Trey FX hair.
Oh, yes, of course.
This
yes,
one this one
brand new hair
looks much
technology
better.
available now, thanks to AMD. We got some
okay.
serious cam freezing going on Skype right now, but hey, I guess that happens.
Oh, I look really attractive.
I particularly like Tales of Lumin's shot. That was quite the thing.
Together.
Oh, man.
I don't
Good
get
Lord.
to see all of these.
could
I'm
be
actually quite
models.
sad. If I had to
it's
open
pretty
this
funny.
now, everything. That's what I keep seeing that. I'm watching the chat and I'm watching the Cynical Brit channel on IRC, and I keep seeing people saying my freezers are so good.
You're on
but I don't get to see
IRC?
them.
I haven't been on IRC in
I
like
am.
a year. Holy shit. But anyway,
I haven't used IRC in years.
yeah, it's
Oh my gosh.
I love IRC and everyone who's in the chat.
forever pandering. Anyway, the thing about this new game is that people could complain it's not like previous Tomb Raider games. It's like, yeah, because you really had a shortage of them. There was fucking 9 of them. You know, you don't need any more goddamn Tomb Raider games. If you're going to change the game around, this is probably the time to do it. Because you did the first generation Tomb Raider games, which was what, 6 games, yeah? 6 games, was it? Yeah, it was either 5 or 6. And then you did the second generation Tomb Raider games, which was 3 more games that were pretty much very similar to the first one. One of which was just a remake of the first game. And now you've got this, which is clearly a reboot, and they're changing the style of things. And it's like, you have had enough fucking Tomb Raider games, right? You don't need any more of the traditional style of Tomb Raider games. If you want to play them, they're all there for you to play. It's not like Homeworld, where we've been starving for a game for like 10 years. You have Tomb Raider, stop complaining.
I have never been more disappointed in a single human being in my entire life.
Look, I'll be honest, the last Tomb Raider game I played and enjoyed thoroughly was the first one. That game was amazing, especially when it came out. It was so scary. I think the first encounter in the game was with 2 wolves, just 2 wolves. But the graphics were so amazing at the time, so amazing at the time on my Voodoo Banshee that it scared me to death. That game scared me to death. I struggled to play past that first bit, and it was the most enjoyable thing ever. I just don't think that happens nowadays anymore, but still, that was the last game that I really played and enjoyed in the Tomb Raider series. I'm hoping this one's going to be as good, or at least as entertaining to me. We'll have to wait and see.
We'll see. Yeah, I'm totally fine with them doing a different style of Tomb Raider. Because, again, they've done Tomb Raider 5 million fucking times in exactly the same way. The best Tomb Raider game was on Game Boy Color. True story. It was a 2D platformer. It was better than everything else. Screw Tomb Raider and its dumb camera angles and its shitty platforming and its dumb puzzles and its triangular breasts.
It was good.
That's a common video game trope.
Triangular breasts?
It's not specific to Tomb Raider.
Yeah, that was pretty much like all PlayStation 1 era breasts were pretty much triangular because it was easier.
My cam is still frozen like that. Every time I look over, it's
pretty
hard.
amusing. Tails is frozen, you're frozen, and Jess is just looking furious.
No.
It's...
No! 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 Okay! I'm gonna end this now! Tails, his face is the face of a man who is just enjoying himself, having a good time. Dodger posed for that picture for a good 5 minutes just so when it is that way, so she'd look good when it froze! No! 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 I will not have it! I will not have it!
I was trying to get it so that when it unfroze, I would be in the same position. So
it hasn't unfrozen yet.
I know! And then I started giggling so hard because it wouldn't.
I will not tolerate this, Dodger! You have crossed the line!
She nearly had it. She nearly had it. That's amazing.
I thought she froze on my screen until I noticed her eyes were blinking, sitting there posing for a fake picture. If you want to know why I was mad, I was judging her because you have gone Hollywood, miss. You have gone Hollywood, and I will never. I don't think anyone can see that.
No one can see it.
That was beautiful. That was a beautiful pose.
Oh God. Okay.
You are a bad person. You are a bad person. I believed in you. I believed in Harvey Dent, and you ruined it for me.
The pose wasn't that bad. That was a good pose. It was.
Press Hollywood to continue, you sellout.
Listen, I hope they use that for the thumbnail of this podcast. I give the game station full permission to use Dodger's face instead of mine.
Oh my God.
Do it.
Oh, I'm in pain.
That's amazing.
That hurt a lot. Fucking stop it!
Sorry.
This is not happening. We done that.
Oh God! Somebody talk about something else.
Please stop.
There's another trailer.
No, there isn't.
No, that was it.
That was the last one.
That's the end.
We have no. Oh Jesus! I don't know the words.
Oh my God. Okay.
Wait, I need water.
I drank all of mine. I have nothing.
I'm okay.
Just.
I'm okay.
Just, God.
Good.
Okay.
I think we're kind of at the end of the show. We actually are, literally. We've been going for like 6 hours, so no, 3. Yeah, it felt like
feels
6.
like it.
Yeah.
After that.
Yes.
What a great day.
Well, I'm glad you've had fun. That's important. That's the greatest gift of all, isn't it? Nothing of value was said on this show whatsoever, but there's nothing unusual about that either. So, I guess we could talk about what's coming this week on the channels and have a look at what's on the Game Station as well. There is some stuff that you should check out on the Game Station channel, by the way. Usual fare. We do have what is probably one of the funniest Iron Gamer episodes I've seen in a long time, in the form of Sonic the Fighters, which can never fail to be amusing. Good lord, that is a thing. You could check that one out over at the Game Station right now. It's a game with a character called Bean. There's a character called Bean in that game. He's never like been in another Sonic game, to the best of my knowledge. It's just ridiculous. It is well worth having a look at. So go check that out. That I believe
game was fun.
Yeah, it's actually Sonic the Fighters was surprisingly good. Like as an arcade game, that game was actually pretty good.
Oh, I wouldn't call it good.
It was pretty
I'll call
good.
it fun though.
It was not a bad. You know, we're talking about the era of Battle Arena to Shinden here. So, you know, it's not that bad. So, yeah, definitely worth having a look at that. You can go and check that one out on the Game Station channel if you want to have a look at some other stuff there. Of course, we do have last week's show that did finally go up. We had some editing problems again. So, yeah. Random problems there. New issue. Apparently, the season finale of how does one do a season finale of Remag? I have to wonder, especially since that's kind of a news show. Apparently, you can do a season finale of Remag. That was news to me. I should do a season finale of Content Patch, and then give me an excuse not to do it for like 3 weeks. That would be good. Yeah, that's just saying.
Don't you enjoy talking about video games?
I love talking about video games. I absolutely adore it. But you can definitely go check that one out if you so desire over on the Game Station channel. And we do have new lore, I believe, as well. There is lore. And some people don't even know that's Game Station. It's like, yeah, it's ours. It's the one that is up there right now is Dark Souls lore in a minute, which you cannot explain the Dark Souls lore in a minute. That's actually impossible. Big lies coming in from there. Who commented on that one anyway? Oh, it was Josh Indie Static. Yes. Yeah, that's kind of surprising. We don't have Epic Name Bro on our network, do we? We really need to do that. We need to get Epic Name Bro on. He's really good. But yeah, the Dark Souls lore, it probably won't help you at all. Like the game makes no sense at all. So. Yeah, you can definitely check it out.
Dark Souls was never about the lore. Never.
No, it wasn't.
There I am.
Yeah, we fixed it. We fixed
it.
Yeah, but you should go check out Dark Souls lore in a minute. That's definitely worth doing. There's also a new Fast Facts over there as well in the form of Borderlands 2. There's also Far Cry 3 lore in a minute. There's no real lore for Far Cry 3. It's just like, douchebag on island, crazy guy, kill douchebag on island, other douchebag, become John Rambo. End of story. That's it. Done.
True.
Straight up.
Not too difficult. Yep, straight out of something. Anyway, what do you got for us? Tales of Lumin. Tell us what's coming up on your channel over the next week. What should we be looking forward to?
Okay. I'm still continuing my Skyrim playthrough. It's still running.
Good man.
I'm loving that stuff. I'm loving it.
Skyrim, when you want infinite Let's Play money. It's
exactly.
Like
I mean,
Jesus Christ, you're on 147 episodes. You know you've got to go some way to beat the ultimate guy. There is a guy that we found on YouTube that has over 1,000 episodes of Skyrim. So
there's no way I'm going to
guy.
get to that anytime soon. My episodes are actually kind of long, but
I'm
enjoying
you've got production values. You're not doing
DLC.
this wrong, man. There's production values on your video. You've actually like put decent stuff on it. I don't think you understand what a Skyrim playthrough is supposed to be. Jesse, tell him.
I'm not really clued up on Let's Plays in general. What can I say? But you should definitely check out the XCOM Let's Play. It's different. I've got the list. It's called The List. And everyone that comments on the videos, they get added to the list. And if I eventually at some point in the future, which could be in 10 years from now, who knows,
get down to the bottom of the list, I may get to your name. And then I'll make a character with your name. I'll customize it nicely in a way I see fit. And I'll give it a little backstory and then probably kill it a couple of episodes later because that's just how I roll. But that's coming up. I am having a look at doing more of my cooking shows, which is amazing. I don't know if anyone has seen that, but I had so much fun making a cup of cake. So much fun.
Congratulations on the cup of cake.
In a cup. But I suppose it's not gaming.
Well, that's 100% more success rate than Jesse has when making cake in a cup. So
I gotta say, after today's podcast, yes. I am in the next week or two. Yeah. I'm going to be getting out a recap of sorts of the StarCraft Wings of Liberty campaign. And then in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing Bioshock 1 and 2 recaps. Just not like what the lore channel does. I'm not doing the lore. I just want people to know what happened in the game. Straight up, nothing about the backstory, any of that. I'm going to be getting that up on the channel soon. I'm still doing my Newsman episodes pretty much every day of the week. They are a lot of fun. I'm going to be getting a lot of Guild Wars 2 out because of the new patch that came out recently, yesterday. There's a lot of stuff to see there. So I'm still kind of enjoying that. And then Adventure-worthy episodes. Adventure-worthy is my first impression / review type thing on games. It's kind of fun. I'm going to be having a look at, I think I said here, a thing called Planet Explorers. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was a rock, paper, shotgun recently.
I've heard about it, yeah.
I'm going to have a look at that because it's free to play right now. And it looks like a lot of fun. It's like an MMO mixed up with Minecraft, but it's actually voxel based, which is, to me, fascinating. And I'm probably going to be looking at Banner Saga, which we spoke about before the podcast started.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I've got a lot of things to say about that so far, but I'm going to hold that to the video.
I may also, at some point, get started on Far Cry. I've got, not Far Cry, sorry, Assassin's Creed. I've got Assassin's Creed 3 lying around here, but I've just not really dug into the single-player portion of the game yet. I want to. I really want to. It looks kind of cool, but it's a daunting task playing a game like that. To me, at least.
That and the fact that every one of them was exactly the fucking same, so... It's like, oh, do I want to play another 50 hours of Assassin's Creed wandering?
There are so many people playing that everyone has an incredibly strong opinion about the game itself and reacts very strongly to what you're going to say about it. So it's kind of daunting in that respect. But otherwise...
Sell a bazillion copies. Didn't they like sell 12 million copies of Assassin's Creed 3?
A ridiculous amount.
It's insanely... It has become their Call of Duty. There's no real doubt about that.
Rightfully so. But other than that,
channel then, I guess. There we go.
That's it.
Pretty much. Check it out on TalesOfLumin. TalesOfLumin.
TalesOfLumin.
Go. I have a feeling I may have slightly overestimated. Looks like they sold about 7 or 8 million copies. That's still a lot of fucking units. So yeah, they've done pretty well. I think they've probably shipped about 12 million of the bloody things. But Dojo, what do you got coming up on your channel? What's going on?
Things that I just put up are a StarCraft DIY just went up on Dexterity bonus that I had a lot of fun with. So it's Heart of the Swarm focused. But that went up. And then my match against Bebop Vox just went up on Press Heart to Continue for the Blood Bowl match. And this week I'm playing against Angry Joe. I don't know what day, but that's going to be the next one.
Yeah.
And then got Monday, Wednesday, Friday gaming news on Press Heart to Continue.
Yep.
And the daily vlog on Dexterity bonus, and we're going to do our first Q&A show on Dexterity bonus this week. So tune in for that, and feel free to tweet me questions if you would like. Yeah, and either this week or next week, I'm going to be doing my first video of a new series called I Tried, where I look up something on the internet that I'm interested in figuring out how to do, but don't necessarily think I can do it, and then I try to do it, and we see how it turns out. So that's going to be really fun for me. And that's it. That's what I've got going.
Wonderful. Check that one out over, of course, at Press Hard to Continue and Dexterity Bonus are the two channels for that. Jesse, what do you got coming up this week? What's going on?
More exciting games. If you like games, I got games. You want more games? I got games too. We got the Sim Cities, and we got Dead Spaces, and we got other things, and we got Fan Fridays, and we have the Greenlight on Saturday. That's a thing. And let's say you like watching Blood Bowl. Well, you probably should watch my video because it took a whole day to make, and no one gave a shit, and no one watched it. So you should probably go watch that before I just decide never to make another video. Also, you should definitely come by and see some of the stuff going on because my Awesome Knots character might come out tomorrow, so that'd be a thing. So you should probably play Awesome Knots. Go get that game and see my character, and yay! So great videos. Go watch them. I need to look. I gotta pay rent, people. Watch my videos.
Yeah, I have 8 baby cats to feed.
I spent all Monday working on that stupid Blood Bowl video, and no one cared. So how's about you scratch my back, and I'll scratch yours?
You're not doing very well at making Jesse enthusiastic about Blood Bowl, guys. Come on, you got. Didn't the thing is your render failed, didn't it? That was actually what happened with it.
All day it failed. Yes.
Bebop, I think, had that problem too.
This is what happens when you make 2-hour 1080p videos. It turns out that sometimes it doesn't work very well.
And they hard.
Yeah, pretty much. You know Blood Bowl 2 got announced?
Yeah.
It
yesterday,
did.
Right?
Yeah, it did. It's coming out like 2014, like after we stopped caring about Blood Bowl. But
does Cyanide still have it?
Yeah, they do.
Okay. Or are you gonna
have anything?
You were hiding your disappointment there, weren't you? It's like, oh no, what are they doing now?
Do you think that with your little Blood Bowl league that started up, they saw this little rise in sales and they thought to themselves, well, this can be salvaged.
I know for a fact they saw a
Blood Bowl
huge rise in sales. They told me this. It's gotten to the point where they may actually be willing to put down a cash prize for this tournament. So, there's some crazy potential things happening.
What?
Jesse,
I want that.
Jesse, the rent.
Jesse.
Think of the rent.
The rent.
Look,
The
I'll be
babies.
honest.
Jesse.
If they put up a cash prize, I would actively try to win just so I could take their money and then be like, your game sucks as I take their money. Then I would try. I would try for that. If that was the case,
This is
I'd be
why
like,
nobody endorses you, Jesse. This is why you don't get sponsorships.
EA does.
EA,
EA's doing a good job. Exactly.
Look, EA way better than Cyanide. Just let you know.
Oh my. Yeah, well, I don't even know what they're going to do with Blood Bowl 2. It's just like, the game's already pretty much complete. The only thing they can really do is make it suck less.
Oh, I forgot to say, be sure to watch Gerard the Completionist and I play Blood Bowl this week. We are going to be super drunk, and it's going to be wonderful. So if you want to see two grown men get wasted and possibly break the league and force TV to have to alter the league, this would be the one to watch.
Yep.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Jesus Christ. All right, what's coming up on my channel this week? Well, I've got my Blood Bowl match with Bebop Vox. I have a feeling he might have to practice a little bit for that. That might take a little bit of work on his part. We'll see. It's like, let's just put it this way. I'm not going to be pulling punches on that one. Jesse did surprisingly well, but, well, I don't know about Bebop Vox. We'll see. We'll see how that one goes for him. I'm looking forward to it. It may end up being very interesting indeed. Also, episodes of Content Patch are continuing at the usual pace. We're actually getting like 5 a week out now, which I know is a bit of a shock for people, considering I generally slack on that show. But now we're getting episodes of that. New WTF is A Murder City of Gangsters is done. If you're watching this on the YouTube channel on Friday, it should already be out, assuming I didn't screw it up. I've already done Bit Trip Runner. I'm probably doing Brutal Legend. I still want to do Strike Suit Zero once I can force myself through that dreadful goddamn tutorial. Once that's happened, that'll be great. And there's quite a few other games actually popping up that I'm definitely looking to try and do. I'll do a little bit more Dota, but obviously it's less priority than WTF is, so it'll happen. And my Blood Bowl match, and I will do a roundup for week 3. I'm not going to go crazy with it like I did with the first episode because it was a huge amount of work. It literally took like 2 to 3 days of editing. I can't afford that because otherwise I can't make you videos. So I'll do something a little bit lighter, but that still kind of rounds up the scores and what's been happening. So yeah, that's how that's going to be. And I'm probably going to dip back into PlanetSide again. I know there's going to be a new update coming fairly soon. I do want to get back on the horse. I took a break after the Battle Royale because I've been playing too much of it. And hopefully I'll get the chance to crack on with that. But please do check out my channel, youtube.com/TotalHalibut. I also have new StarCraft casts up. I have a new one between Grubby and Crazy Moving, which is great. You should go to youtube.com/TotalBiscuit to check that one out. Those of you who watched the live stream with Blizzard on Tuesday, there was a bit of a problem with the encode on their end, so it didn't look very good, but I have that match up in 1080p and it looks great. So I would strongly recommend that you have a look at that. And that's pretty much about it. I think that's pretty much it. I think that there's nothing else to talk about, so I think we should maybe end the show now. Sounds like a plan. Let's do that. Let's end the show.
Okay.
Let's end the show. So thank you very much for watching, folks. Please do check us out on our YouTube channels. They are below. You can also check us out on Twitter. They are also below, for the most part, except the fact that Dodgers' Dex bonus and mine.
Her new channel is Pose Heart to Continue.
Yes.
Press
Also,
Hollywood
one
to
reminder.
continue.
by the way.
Press Hollywood to continue.
Yeah. If you are currently watching live, you should check out the Indie Gala Colossus bundle because it's ridiculous. Like, it is the best bundle that I've ever seen. It's ending very soon, in like a day. It's got stuff like Darwinia, Multiwinia, Defcon, Uplink, Hearts of Iron 3, Demigod, Galactic Civilizations. It's got King Arthur and King Arthur 2 and all the DLC. And you can get it for, like, next to nothing. It's ridiculous, and you should consider getting it. Have a look at it.
Indiegala.com.
Yes, indiegala.com. That is indiegala.com. I would strongly recommend that you have a look at that, because it's got quite a lot of great games. It's got, like, pretty much everything that the guys behind, well, Introversion made, and all of those games are great. So, yeah, go have a look. It's pretty cool. I think that's about it. We're done. Thank you very much for watching the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, everybody!
We are leaving. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Awesome.
Bye.